Chapter 2366. A resounding slap rang out, and Xiang Yinfeng was once again sent flying. This time, there were drops of blood floating in the air. It was very eye-catching. The surrounding cultivators' expressions changed again. How long had it been? Xiang Yinfeng, the divine son of the Xiang clan, had been slapped twice by Lin Tian. Boom! Saint energy roared. Xiang Yinfeng stabilized his body, and the saint aura around him grew stronger. When he looked at Lin Tian again, his expression was even colder, and his killing intent was fierce. A series of holy blades of slaughter appeared behind him. Each of the holy blades seemed to be able to cut through everything. It was obvious that this was a very powerful spell. At the same time, the aura of order intertwined and surrounded his body. He walked over step by step. As he walked, the killing blades behind him became more terrifying, and the aura of order became stronger. In the next moment, clanging sounds could be heard, and the dense killing blades slashed toward Lin Tian. At the same time, the light of order also pressed down, sealing the surrounding void. Lin Tian's eyes flashed. At this moment, Xiang Yinfeng finally made him feel a little pressured. Of course, it was only a little. He did not make any extra movements. He activated the reincarnation sword technique, and a large amount of reincarnation sword light swept out to meet Xiang Yinfeng's killing blades. At the same time, he summoned the divine chains of order, and they clanked as they pressed down from all directions. In the blink of an eye, the two collided. The killing blades and the sharp sword light collided, and the order clashed against the order. At this moment, the space in this place was distorted and shattered inch by inch. Soon, dozens of breaths passed. Lin Tian dodged Xiang Yinfeng's killing blades and used the reincarnation steps to appear in front of him. He condensed the Saint Energy Light sword in his hand and slashed down. This sword strike was both fast and powerful. It forcefully slashed apart the protective light barrier around Xiang Yan's body and left behind a glaring sword wound on his chest. A large amount of blood splashed out, and one could even faintly see the sternum, heart, and other organs within. This is the strongest of the Xiang clan's younger generation? Not much, Lin Tian said calmly as he raised his lightsaber. At this place, the group of cultivators was even more shocked. The dignified divine son of the Xiang family, who was clearly at the peak of the Dao transformation realm, was actually suppressed by an early-stage Dao transformation realm cultivator from the four-dimensional world, and was injured time and time again. Xiang Yinfeng's expression turned even colder. The wound on his chest healed in the blink of an eye as he unleashed all kinds of great techniques. In the blink of an eye, the sky began to tremble violently. All kinds of ancient runes appeared beside him, and the aura of order erupted like a volcano. A huge world of light appeared, and within it was a hazy light mist. Divine chains of order circled around it. Sainthood Treasure Region. A cultivator couldn't help but exclaim. Clearly, he recognized the light world that Xiang Yinfeng brought out. His face was filled with reverence. Be careful. This is Xiang Yinfeng's order theurgy. It is said to be able to seal everything. Don't let yourself be contaminated by the light realm. Otherwise, your cultivation and saint energy will be sealed in the blink of an eye. Even your pure flesh will be suppressed in an instant. Yu Yaoshi transmitted her voice to Lin Tiandao in a serious tone. At this time, Lin Tian naturally sensed how terrifying Xiang Yinfeng's order theurgy was. Even an early-stage, all-creation realm cultivator would feel fear and trepidation when facing it. However, his expression didn't change at all. There wasn't the slightest bit of concern or fear. He was calm and indifferent. This is your strongest technique? He spoke. Strands of saint runes of order intertwined around his body as he walked towards Xiang Yinfeng with steady steps. Xiang Yinfeng's skin was as sharp as a knife, and his eyes were bone-chilling. He walked towards Lin Tian step by step. The two of them walked towards each other, and the space around them crackled as the void distorted. Then, in the next moment, the two of them sped up. Their figures blurred as they collided with each other. Xiang Yinfeng's sainthood treasure domain was shrouded in a hazy light of order. Divine chains of order rattled as they attacked Lin Tian again and again, intertwining with terrifying sealing power and terrifying destructive power. Lin Tian's Saint Runes of Order revolved around his body, completely ignoring his opponent's order theurgy. He clashed head-on time and time again, even charging into his opponent's sainthood treasure domain. With a wave of his hand, he destroyed large amounts of hazy light and divine chains of order. This scene caused the crowd to stare blankly. Xiang Yinfeng's order theurgy was said to be able to seal everything. Even the slightest bit of light from the treasure domain would cause trouble. But now, it didn't have the slightest effect on Lin Tian. Xiang Yinfeng's eyes narrowed. He activated the sainthood treasure domain even more, and the hazy light and divine chains of order pressed down on Lin Tian. However, the Saint Runes of Order around Lin Tian's body dispelled everything. Clang! Lin Tian used the Saint Runes of Order to dispel Xiang Yinfeng's order theurgy. He found a suitable opportunity and raised his right hand, slashing a large amount of reincarnation sword aura straight towards Xiang Yinfeng. The sword aura was dense. With a poof, blood splattered. Xiang Yinfeng's entire left arm was pierced through, and he was immediately sent flying. Lin Tian's thoughts moved slightly, and the reincarnation god slaying technique was silently used. An invisible killing power pressed towards his opponent. In the blink of an eye, the invisible killing power broke through Xiang Yinfeng's body and struck his soul, causing him to let out a muffled groan. Outside his body, his aura instantly became chaotic, and his sainthood treasure domain became very unstable. Lin Tian condensed a sword of light in his hand, and with one slash, he shattered the entire sainthood treasure domain. In an instant, he arrived before Xiang Yinfeng and casually slashed down. With a clang, he slashed out with his sword, but countless sword lights appeared and trapped Xiang Yinfeng in the blink of an eye. Scram! Xiang Yinfeng stabilized his body and shouted coldly. His majestic aura vibrated, and all the sword auras were crushed. Holy light buzzed, and a treasured cauldron rushed out of his body. It was covered in ancient runes and divine seals, as if it could suppress everything in the world. The immortal offering cauldron actually forced Xiang Yinfeng to at this place. The cultivator's hearts trembled. Lin Tian, who came from the four-dimensional sky, was only at the early stage Dao transformation realm. But now, he had forced the Xiang family's divine son, who was at the peak of the Dao transformation realm, to use this treasure cauldron. This was a quasi-all-creation level treasure weapon. The immortal offering cauldron was covered in ancient runes. The moment it appeared, it intertwined with an extremely sharp aura, and it hung above Xiang Yinfeng's head. Looking at Lin Tian, Xiang Yinfeng's eyes were cold. With a thought, the immortal offering cauldron immediately pressed down on Lin Tian. The entire space trembled, and the immortal offering cauldron pressed down as if the sky was falling. Gusts of hurricanes swept up, and a terrifying destructive aura was mixed together, pressing down on Lin Tian. Lin Tian's eyes were indifferent. He could feel the terror of this treasure cauldron, but he still did not care at all. With a clang, the reincarnation sword floated out of his body. It was covered in runes, and it moved forward with his thought. In the blink of an eye, the reincarnation sword and the immortal offering cauldron collided. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of metal cracking could be heard, and electric arcs intertwined in the surroundings, making crackling sounds. He blocked the quasi-all-creation level immortal offering cauldron. The cultivators were shocked. At this moment, with a clang, the sword roared. With a thought, Lin Tian activated the reincarnation sword with the reincarnation sword art. Immediately, a monstrous sword aura burst out and landed on the immortal offering cauldron. With a crack, the immortal offering cauldron was shattered. At the same time, the reincarnation sword vibrated again, and the sword aura surged. With a poof, it pierced through Xiang Yinfeng. Dazzling blood splattered in the sky. Divine Sun. In the distance, the two servants who had followed Xiang Qingyi at the beginning trembled violently. Their clan's divine son had been injured by Lin Tian time and time again. Now, even the quasi-all-creation level immortal offering cauldron had been shattered. He was no match for Lin Tian. At this moment, Lin Tian stepped forward. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of the flying Xiang Yanfeng. Black lightning immediately surged out. The fifth stage of the five heaven-shaking lightning technique was activated. At this moment, he activated one of the ultimate killing techniques, drawing out a black sea of destructive lightning. At this moment, together with the reincarnation sword, it trapped Xiang Yanfeng within. The aura of extermination pressed down mercilessly from all directions. The power of the lightning and the power of the divine sword suppressed everything. Xiang Yanfeng's clothes were stained with blood. Naturally, he could feel the terror of this attack. It was a sure kill attack. He looked at Lin Tian, and his eyes became even colder. With a hum, a space portal appeared behind him. He looked at Lin Tian coldly. Without saying anything, he was swallowed by the space portal and disappeared. He escaped? The divine son of the Xiang clan. At this place, the crowd of cultivators was filled with disbelief. The powerful Xiang Yanfeng, the divine son of the Xiang clan of the wilderness, had actually escaped from the hands of someone from the lower realm. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. The black sea of lightning intertwined around his body. The pupils of his left and right eyes began to change. However, in the next moment, these changes gradually stopped. Xiang Yanfeng had used a special defensive technique to escape from Lin Tian's sure kill attack. It seemed that he had escaped into the void of this world. Lin Tian originally wanted to use his Rinnegan and Eye of Destiny to capture him. However, after thinking about it, he decided against it. Rinnegan and Eye of Destiny, Reincarnation and Destiny. These were his trump cards. He didn't want to reveal them for the time being. The black sea of lightning dissipated. He kept the reincarnation sword in his body and turned around to walk towards Yu Yaoshi. The crowd of cultivators on both sides couldn't help but tremble. Many of them were already far away from Lin Tian, but at this moment, they couldn't help but retreat. Their faces were filled with fear. This was especially so for those who were secretly discussing and looking down on Lin Tian. At this moment, their faces were completely pale. They never imagined that Lin Tian, who came from the fourth dimension, would possess such terrifying strength. Even the divine son of the Xiang clan of the wilderness, Xiang Yanfeng, wasn't a match for him. Lin Tian didn't care about these people's reactions. He quickly walked up to Yu Yaoshi. You're simply... Shock was written all over Yu Yaoshi's beautiful face. The divine son of the Xiang clan, one of the few young primes of this generation in the fifth dimension, was at the peak of the Dao Revolution realm. He was much stronger than Lin Tian, yet he was forced to flee by Lin Tian. Very strong, Yu Fengmin said. Lin Tian smiled. It's just SOSO. What do you mean SOSO? Don't be so modest. Yu Yaoshi rolled her eyes at him. Coupled with her beautiful face, she looked very charming. When I was chased by those peak Dao Revolution realm cultivators and was saved by you, I knew that you were very strong. I thought that you wouldn't be any weaker than the divine sons and saintesses of the top orthodoxies. However, I didn't expect that I was wrong. You're clearly much stronger than I thought. The divine son of the Xiang clan was forced to flee by you just like that. Indeed, you don't have to be modest. You're really amazing. Yu Fengmin looked at Lin Tian and said, in the entire fifth dimension, other than that person from the divine palace of myriad beginnings who grasps the laws of the fifth dimension, there's probably no one in the younger generation who can defeat you. Lin Tian originally had a faint smile on his face. However, after hearing Yu Fengmin's words, his smile froze for a moment. A strange light flashed across his eyes. P.S. Unknowingly, it's already been 3 years since we've been Divine Kings of 10 Directions. During these 3 years, I'd like to thank all my brothers and sisters for your company and support. Thank you all. Now that it's the 3rd anniversary of our Divine Kings of 10 Directions, the net has organized a 3rd anniversary event for us. It will start at 19 p.m. sharp. The event will be broadcasted live. The location of the event will be the Divine Kings of 10 Directions Circle on the vertical and horizontal novel app. Everyone, Open the vertical and horizontal novel app. There's an animation prompt. After clicking on it, you'll see our Divine Kings of 10 Directions circle. After that, you can find our event post at the top of the circle and enter it. Chapter 2367. You were shocked by that person from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings? Seeing Lin Tion's strange expression, Euphomine said, "Actually, there's no need for that. Your strength is already very strong. Currently, in the entire fifth dimension, the only person we know of that has grasped the laws of the fifth dimension is that person from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings. Furthermore, that person has only barely grasped the laws of the fifth dimension." Lin Tion's expression returned to normal. With a faint smile, he asked, "Is it the Divine Child from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings? What laws of the fifth dimension did he grasp?" The fifth dimension had 5 laws of the fifth dimension. They were the inverse Tao, star creation, dark light, 10,000 beginnings, and undying. They could be considered as the pillars of the fifth dimension. Each of them possessed extremely terrifying abilities. Once one grasped them, their battle strength would be practically limitless. At this time, he didn't know which one the person from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings controlled. "Is it the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings?" he asked. "You're quite good at guessing. It's indeed the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings. However, you were wrong about one thing. The person from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings who grasped the laws of the fifth dimension isn't a divine child, but a saintess. She's known as the #1 pearl of the fifth dimension." Beside him, Yu Yaoshi opened her mouth and said, "Furthermore, the reason why this lineage is named this way is because the founder of this lineage once grasped the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings. Back then, when he created this lineage, he directly named it the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings. After creating this lineage, the founder of this lineage also left behind his experience in comprehending the law of all beginnings. He made many records in hopes that in the future, there would be more people who grasped the laws of the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings. However, it's a pity that even with these records, no one from the Divine Palace of 10,000 Beginnings was able to grasp the laws of the fifth dimension. After all, the law of all beginnings is one of the 5 laws of the fifth dimension. Even with the experience of the predecessors as a reference, it's naturally difficult to grasp it. Until this generation, this bloodline produced a Luo Xian. Her potential is extremely frightening. After being designated as the Saintess of the Divine Palace, she obtained the qualifications to comprehend the records left behind by the primogenitor of the Myriad Beginnings Divine Palace. Then, relying on her frightening potential and the records left behind by the primogenitor of the Myriad Beginnings Divine Palace, she spent more than 10 years in seclusion and finally barely grasped the laws of the fifth dimension. She continued, "This kind of law is actually similar to the endless divine Tao. Both of them can turn all things back to zero, but the degree of power is different. If someone of the same level of cultivation uses them, in terms of power, to put it simply, if the endless divine Tao is a drop of water, then the law of all beginnings is a boundless galaxy. The difference between the two is like heaven and earth. The Saintess of the Divine Palace of all beginnings grasped such a law when she was at the peak of the profound heaven realm. Now, she is truly the #1 law in the fifth dimension." Lin Tian was slightly surprised. He had guessed that the law of the fifth dimension grasped by the person from the Divine Palace of all beginnings, but he didn't expect that the one who grasped it would be a woman of this bloodline. Moreover, she was the #1 pearl of the fifth dimension. This was somewhat surprising. However, although he was slightly surprised, he didn't pay too much attention to it. Soon, he regained his composure. Above the ancestral Lord Sea domain, a gentle breeze swept by. The blood-colored mist was dissipating bit by bit. He looked at the blood-colored mist and quietly observed it. Occasionally, he would chat with Yu Yaoshi about some simple matters. Time passed day by day. More and more cultivators gradually arrived at this place from outside the ancestral Lord Sea domain. Another day passed, and 3 important figures arrived one after another. 2 men and 1 woman walked in from 3 different directions. Each of them had powerful attendants following behind them. A black-clothed man, a green-clothed man, and a red-clothed woman appeared. All of them were full of vitality. As soon as they appeared, they immediately attracted the gazes of most cultivators. This was especially true for the male cultivators. Almost all of their gazes landed on the red-clothed woman. Most of them were infatuated with her. The black-clothed man is the divine child of the Heaven's Guide Divine Palace, Yuan Ziqing. This bloodline's Heaven's Guide Divine art is mysterious and unfathomable. The green-clothed man is the divine child of the 100-Sage Ancient Pavilion, Luo Sais. This bloodline's 100-Sage Ancient technique is ever-changing and extremely shocking. Yu Yaoshi introduced them to Lin Tian. Finally, her gaze landed on the red-clothed woman. This is the current saintess of the divine palace of all beginnings, Lu Aoxian. What do you think? Isn't she beautiful? Lin Tian's gaze swept past Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sais before landing on Lu Aoxian. Her figure was sculpted from the golden ratio. Her face was as beautiful as jade. Her red robe accentuated her curvaceous figure to the fullest. Her jet black hair cascaded down her shoulders, revealing her fair neck and shoulders. It was enough to cause one's imagination to run wild. He withdrew his gaze and said to Yu Yaoshi with a faint smile, "Can't compare to you." In fact, Lu Aoxian was much prettier than Yu Yaoshi. However, when he observed her, he saw a sense of superiority in her eyes. She looked down on the cultivators who were looking at her from the bottom of her heart. This contempt wasn't obvious, but she didn't try to hide it either. At the very least, he could tell that she wasn't a good person. When he said that Lu Aoxian's beauty couldn't compare to Yu Yaoshi's, he wasn't referring to her appearance, but her spirit. With a simple feeling, he could tell that Yu Yaoshi's spirit was much stronger than Lu Aoxian's. Yu Yaoshi was taken aback. Her beautiful cheeks couldn't help but blush, following which she coughed dryly, causing the redness on her face to dissipate. She then spoke up once more, "I didn't expect you to be so good at coaxing girls." Lin Tian naturally knew what she was thinking. She thought that he was praising her on purpose. He smiled and didn't say anything else. Scram! A loud noise came from afar. A golden-robed man with his hands behind his back and a cultivation at the mid-Dao revolution stage drove away a group of ordinary cultivators. He was very arrogant. Behind him was a gray-robed man and 9 middle-aged servants. The ordinary cultivators who were driven away all had anger in their eyes. However, they didn't dare to say anything. They were clearly afraid of the golden-robed man. Lin Tian looked over and paused for a moment. His eyes narrowed, an array of light intertwined in them. Yu Yaoshi said from the side, "That's the son of the illusion sorcerer sect master, Mu Guanqing. He's many times more arrogant and despotic than Xiang Qingyi. He's done a lot of bullying, and the number of evil deeds he's committed is innumerable. However, because of his father, almost no one in the 5 great orthodoxies dares to provoke him." She continued, "His father, the current sect master of the illusion sorcerer sect, is infinitely close to the 5th dimension. It's said that he'll break through in at most 10 years. Among the 5 5th dimension ancestors of the 5 great orthodoxies, no one is his match." Lin Tian nodded, but his gaze fell on the gray-robed man standing behind Mu Guanqing. "This person is?" Yu Yaoshi glanced at him and seemed to know something. "It's said that he's the illegitimate son of the illusion sorcerer sect master and an ordinary female disciple. His mother, the female disciple, has already passed away. The sect master named him Mu Fengqing. It's not hard to understand the meaning behind the name. He wants him to serve the son of the first wife, Mu Guanqing, forever." She continued, "In the illusion sorcerer sect, his status is very awkward. He's the son of the sect master, but because he's a bastard, some ordinary disciples look down on him." "Mu Fengqing," Lin Tian muttered. His gaze fell on the gray-robed Mu Fengqing, and the light in his eyes intensified. Yu Yaoshi noticed the change in his expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Lin Tian shook his head and retracted his gaze. The light in his eyes faded as he looked back at the ancestral Lord Sea domain. The ancestral Lord Sea region was vast and boundless. Bloody mist lingered above it, causing the air to sizzle. As time passed, the blood mist gradually dissipated, becoming thinner and thinner. In the blink of an eye, 9 days had passed since Zhang Xian and Yu Yaoshi first arrived at the ancestral Lord Sea region. The blood mist above the ancestral Lord Sea region had finally dissipated, and not a single trace of it could be seen on the surface of the boundless sea. "We can go in now." Some people were excited. The saintess of all beginnings Lu Aoxian, the 100 saints divine child Luo Sais, the heaven-guiding divine child Yuan Ziqing, and the young master of the illusion sorcerer divine sect, Mu Guanqing, entered the ancestral Lord Sea region one after another. Immediately after, even more people rushed to the center of the ancestral Lord Sea region. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the cultivators who had been waiting here at the beginning were gone. Lin Tian, Yu Yaoshi, Yu Fengyin, and several of Yu Fengyin's powerful attendants also stepped into the ancestral Lord Sea region. "Yaoshi, Yu, and Lin Tian, take care of yourselves," Yu Fengyin said to Yu Yaoshi. She nodded at Lin Tian before instructing her attendants to change direction and head toward the south of the ancestral Lord Sea region, disappearing in the blink of an eye. "She's not going with you?" Lin Tian asked. "Yeah, she's not going with us," Yu Yaoshi said. "This ancestral Lord Sea region is very vast, and there are immortal opportunities and divine treasures everywhere. If we move separately, we might be able to get more results." She said, "Don't worry. Sister Yin's strength isn't much weaker than mine, and she has powerful secret treasures protecting her. Under normal circumstances, there won't be any problems." Lin Tian nodded and said, "It seems like you two have a good relationship." "Of course we do. Sister Yin was born a year before me, and we practically grew up together," Yu Yaoshi said. She was a little curious. "Why are you asking this? You don't seem to be someone who's interested in such trivial matters." "Nothing. I'm just asking." Lin Tiantan smiled and glanced at the direction Yu Fengyin left, then headed straight to the center of the ancestral Lord Sea region. Chapter 2368. Lin Tiantan smiled upon hearing Yu Yaoshi's words, but he didn't say anything. The two of them walked on the surface of the sea. Their speed wasn't fast, but it wasn't slow either. It didn't take long for them to cover a large distance. Ahead of them, the sea began to boil. Tornadoes began to wreak havoc on the surface of the sea, emanating a terrifying aura. Furthermore, in a place further away, streaks of lightning could be seen interweaving. It was hard to tell where they came from, but the might of the lightning was frightening. This was a natural phenomenon of destruction. Even a peak Dao Revolution cultivator would die tragically if they were to encounter it. Lin Tiantan and Yu Yaoshi were very powerful, so they weren't afraid of these destructive phenomena. However, they didn't deliberately approach them. Instead, they avoided them and continued forward. In front of them, waves suddenly appeared on the surface of the sea. The waves splashed as a dense group of black shadows rushed over. The black figures were hidden underwater, but they soon surfaced. They were a school of strange fish covered in black scales. They were about 5 inches long, and their teeth were extremely sharp, as if they could bite through anything. The black figures were made up entirely of these strange fish, and it was difficult to count how many of them there were. At this moment, they clearly saw Lin Tiantan and Yu Yaoshi as prey, and they charged toward the two of them ferociously. Blood-devourer demons. They are savage and love to eat. They usually move in groups, and their strength isn't anything special. However, they're frighteningly fast in the water. Even ordinary Pure Sun realm experts would find it hard to match them, Yu Yaoshi said. That's right. While she was speaking, the school of blood-devourer demons had already closed in on them, causing huge splashes of water to appear. A faint halo spread out from Lin Tiantan's body, forcing all of the blood-devourer demons back into the sea. The densely packed blood-devourer demons gathered together like giant piranhas on the Milky Way imperial star. They clearly sensed how terrifying Lin Tiantan was, and they struggled to escape. However, under Lin Tiantan's halo, they couldn't escape. Why did you seal them? Can't you just kill them? Yu Yaoshi asked curiously. Lin Tianin chuckled as he crouched down with his back, facing Yu Yaoshi. At an angle that Yu Yaoshi couldn't see, the Saint Reincarnation runes in his right eye emerged, causing the blood-devouring beast to shudder. In the next moment, the Saint Reincarnation rune in his right eye quickly dissipated. He stood up and dispersed the aura around him. Instantly, the group of blood-devouring demons fled at a frightening speed, disappearing in a flash. You let him go? Yu Yaoshi was a little doubtful. This was a group of ferocious demons. In the beginning, she thought that Lin Tian would directly annihilate them when they charged over like this. Yet she never expected that Lin Tian would first restrain them before releasing all of them. This caused her to be bewildered, and she kept feeling that it was slightly strange. They're just a bunch of small fish. There's no need to kill them. Lin Tian smiled. As his comprehension of the path of reincarnation deepened, his eye of reincarnation had grown stronger than when he was in the fourth dimension. He now had the ability to control ordinary life forms and turn them into his reincarnation puppets to do his bidding. Previously, when he had his back facing Yu Yaoshi, he had used his eye of reincarnation on the group of blood-devouring demons. Under the effects of his eye of reincarnation, the blood-devouring demons had all been turned into his reincarnation puppets. Under the effects of his eye of reincarnation, he was able to see through the blood-devouring demons' perception and vision clearly. The reason for this was due to the speed of the blood-devouring demons. Their speed in the water couldn't even compare to that of ordinary pure yang experts. In this part of the sea, they would be able to swiftly scout the area for him. Naturally, this would be of great use to him. It would allow him to swiftly gain a rough understanding of the various regions in the sea, making it much easier for him to carry out his missions in the future. On top of that, he might just be lucky enough to find all kinds of rare treasures. You sure are protective of Lil Dong, Yu Yaoshi remarked. She paused for a moment before continuing. That doesn't seem to be a small animal. Don't think too much about it. Lin Tian chuckled as he beckoned Yu Yaoshi to continue forward. The two of them increased their speed slightly, and before long, they had traversed quite a distance and arrived at the center of the sea. It was also at this moment that a massive island appeared before them. It stretched for an unknown distance from the north to the south. Ancient trees were erected on the island, and every single one of them was astonishingly tall. They exuded an extremely frightening aura of time. At the same time, all kinds of natural phenomena of destruction appeared in the periphery of the massive island. There was a frightening lightning field mixed with dense lightning, a violent sea vortex with frightening whirlpools, a destructive water pillar that soared into the sky, and even more phenomena of destruction. All of them carried an extremely frightening aura. Lin Tian's eyes glinted. Without a doubt, that massive island was where the Seven Treasures Ancestor Lord's immortal abode was located. We're here. It's on that island, Yu Yaoshi exclaimed. At the same time, many cultivators had already gathered in this place. Everyone's gaze fell on the huge island ahead. Naturally, they knew that the Seven Treasures Ancestor Lord's immortal abode was on that island. The eyes of all the cultivators were burning with passion, as if they could already see the divine treasures on the giant island. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A series of whooshes took place as groups of cultivators made their way to the island. Although there were all kinds of terrifying, strange phenomena on the periphery of the island, these strange phenomena did not cover the entire island in all directions. There were still many empty spaces, enough for people to pass through safely. Yu Yaoshi turned to Lin Tian and said, "We should also." As she said this, her expression suddenly changed. Lin Tian noticed the change in her expression and asked, "What's wrong?" A jade appeared in Yu Yaoshi's hand and said, "This is a type of artifact that Big Sister Een and I use to communicate." As she spoke, she scanned the surroundings and pointed in a direction to Lin Tiandao. "Just now, Big Sister Een sent me a message through the artifact. She said that there's an extremely important matter and wants me to make a trip to a strait about 1,000,000 li away from here." As she spoke, she glanced at the massive island and said to Lin Tiandao, "The Seven Treasures Ancestor Lord's immortal abode is on that island. You should go first. I'll make a trip to the strait there and then come back to find you." At present, many cultivators had already arrived on the massive island. The Seven Treasures Ancestor Lord's fifth-dimensional artifacts, seven-star classics, and other divine pills and treasures were all on that island. Now that she was here, she had to go because of Yu Fengyin's message. However, there was no need for Lin Tian to go with her. That might cause Lin Tian to miss the opportunity to obtain the treasures. Lin Tian naturally knew what Yu Yaoshi was thinking. He glanced at the direction Yu Yaoshi had pointed at and said, "I'll go with you." As he said this, the blood devourer goblins that he had used reincarnation eye technique on immediately flew in that direction. "You're going with me?" "No need." Yu Yaoshi was slightly taken aback. Then, she shook her head and said, "Since we're already here, the best choice is to enter the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode. There's no need for you to go with me. You'll miss the opportunity to obtain the treasures." She believed that with Lin Tian's strength, he would definitely be able to obtain some treasures in the immortal abode. If he were to leave with her and the treasures in the immortal abode were taken away by someone else, that would be too much of a pity. She would feel very uneasy. "It's fine," Lin Tiandao said. "Since it's the fifth dimension Ancestor Lord's immortal abode, it won't be easy to barge into it. The ancient scriptures and treasures inside won't be taken away so easily either. I'll go with you, and then we'll return here together." "You're right. The ancient scriptures and treasures in the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode aren't easy to obtain. But Yu Yaoshi hesitated. "It's fine," Lin Tian said with a smile. Yu Yaoshi still wanted to say something, but Lin Tian interrupted her. In the end, she could only nod. "Then let's make things clear first. If we return and the treasures inside have all been taken away, don't blame me," Yu Yaoshi said softly. "Don't worry," Lin Tian said with a smile. At the same time, a faint glint flashed across his eyes. He glanced at the direction Yu Yaoshi had pointed at earlier and said, "The place your cousin chose. It's not bad." At this very moment, the blood-devouring beast that Zhang Xian had imbued with his eye of reincarnation had already reached the area that Yu Yaoshi had pointed out earlier with a speed surpassing that of a pure sun realm cultivator. "That place isn't bad? You haven't even reached it yet. So how do you know that it's not bad?" "What do you mean?" Yu Yaoshi was taken aback. "It's nothing." Lin Tian shook his head. "Let's go." So, he took the lead and headed toward the location Yu Yaoshi had pointed out earlier. Yu Yaoshi paused for a moment before following behind him. With their powerful cultivation, it didn't take long for them to leave the massive island they had previously been on. After a short period of time, a strait appeared before them. There were many small charred islands in the surroundings, and the surface of the sea was tranquil. "Yaoshi." Just as the two of them arrived, Yu Fengyin's voice rang out from within the straits. Behind her, there were still a few powerful attendants from before. At this moment, they walked out from the straits and approached before greeting Lin Tian. "Big Sisine, is there something important?" Yu Yaoshi asked with a serious expression. Yu Fengyin replied with a deep voice, "We found a secret realm in the center of the strait. It's on par with the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode." Yu Yaoshi's face warped in shock. There was actually a secret realm in the center of the strait that was on par with the Seven Treasures Ancestors' immortal abode? "Big Sisine, are you sure?" Yu Yaoshi couldn't help but take a deep breath. "There's no mistaking it." Yu Fengyin nodded solemnly. "There's a powerful natural barrier around the secret realm. Even with my strength and the secret artifact in my body, it's still not enough to break it. That's why I called you over. If we work together, we'll definitely be able to break it open. If your friends work together as well, it'll be much easier for us to break the natural barrier. I have a feeling that there are all kinds of unimaginable treasures inside." Yu Yaoshi's eyes lit up. "Then, Big Sisine, let's head over." Yu Fengyin nodded. She led Yu Yaoshi and Lin Tian into the strait and headed toward the center of the strait. Soon, the group had traveled far into the distance, and they were about to reach the center of the strait. Gradually, the area ahead of them began to open up. The number of charred islands began to dwindle, revealing a vast expanse of flat sea. "It's right in the middle of that vast expanse of sea," Yu Fengyin said to Yu Yaoshi with a solemn expression. She gestured for Yu Yaoshi and Lin Tian, behind her to head in that direction. Without the slightest hesitation, Yu Yaoshi hurriedly followed behind him. Chapter 2369. Being held back by Lin Tian, Yu Yaoshi was perplexed. What's wrong? At the same time, Yu Fengmin also halted her footsteps and turned to Lin Tian. Fellow Taoist Lin, what's wrong? Lin Tian pulled Yu Yaoshi behind him and looked at Yu Fengmin with a smile. Miss Fengmin, you're willing to make a move personally. Is it because you have absolute confidence? Fengmin won't be able to open the natural barrier outside the dungeon by herself. Didn't I say so earlier? We have to work together in order to have absolute confidence in opening the dungeon, Yu Yaoshi said. Yu Fengmin said as she looked at Lin Tian in confusion. Don't play dumb. I'm not discussing the illusory dungeon with you. Lin Tian looked at her and said, didn't you summon Yaoshi here so that you can eliminate her? As soon as those words came out, Yu Yaoshi's expression changed. She frowned and asked, Lin Tian, what are you saying? Lin Tian actually said that her cousin Yu Fengmin summoned her here to eliminate her. She couldn't understand why Lin Tian would suddenly say something like that. Yu Fengmin also frowned. Fellow Taoist Lin, what are you saying? Yaoshi is my younger sister. Why should I erase? Clang! The sound of a sword echoed. Lin Tian flicked his finger, and the energy of the divine One Soul art coalesced into a sword, interrupting Yu Fengmin's words. In an instant, the space in the middle of the sea trembled. Killing inscriptions gradually appeared, forming a terrifying killing formation in the blink of an eye. As soon as such a killing formation appeared, Yu Yaoshi's expression changed. To think that there would be such a terrifying killing formation in the middle of the sea in front of her. The killing intent emanating from it could easily kill even an all-creation realm expert. Big Sissine, what's going on? Her complexion immediately turned awful. That killing formation clearly wasn't a natural formation. It was as if someone had placed it there from the start. Recalling that Lin Tian had said that Yu Fengmin had called her here to get rid of her, she recalled the assassination attempt a few days ago. Her mind buzzed, and her expression turned even uglier. You want to kill me? A few days ago, when Miley clan was ambushed, was it you who instigated it? Yu Fengmin opened her mouth, wanting to defend herself. However, in the end, she didn't say anything because there was no longer any space for her to defend herself. That's right, I'm the one in charge, she harumphed coldly. The calm expression she had when she was facing Yu Yaoshi and Lin Tian earlier had vanished, replaced by a cold and sinister expression. Hearing Yu Fengmin admit it personally, Yu Yaoshi couldn't help but shudder. Why? We grew up together. Cultivate together. We are family. Why did you do that? She clenched her fists. A few days ago, she was ambushed when she went out. She guessed that it was done by people from her clan because only the people from her clan knew about her trip to the ancient mountain. After that, she suspected many people, but she had never suspected Yu Fengmin. Even though they weren't blood-related sisters, she thought that the two of them were no different from blood-related sisters. Yet, what she never expected was that the culprit behind the ambush was actually the person she had always trusted, the person she had always treated as her blood-related sister. Why? She clenched her fists even tighter, to the point where her knuckles were turning white. The person she had always treated as her blood-related sister, the person she trusted so much, was actually bent on killing her. At the same time, she couldn't understand why her cousin whom she trusted so much would do such a thing. Why? You're asking me why? Yu Fengmin's face darkened. My father is clearly older than your father, the eldest son of the clan, so why is your father the one to inherit the position of the clan head? I was born before you, and my strength isn't much weaker than yours. No, I'm not weaker than you at all. Why did the clan make you the holy maiden, while I'm inferior to you in every aspect? She sneered coldly. Without you, I would be the current holy maiden of the clan. Yu Yaoshi was shocked and furious. The position of the clan head was decided by grandfather and the grand elders based on the strength of father and uncle. The clan rules have always stipulated that the holy maiden and holy maiden are the children of the clan head, unless there's someone in the clan who is far stronger than the clan head's children. Do you think that I want to be the holy maiden? In the clan before you, I've always treated myself as a younger sister, and you as my blood-related sister. All these years, when have I ever disrespected you? All these years, when have I ever presented myself as the holy maiden in front of you? When have you ever been inferior to me in every aspect? Yu Fengyin's face darkened. As long as you're the holy maiden of the clan, I'll always be inferior to you in the eyes of others. She sneered coldly. It doesn't matter if I don't lure you into the killing formation. I can still get rid of you. As soon as she said those words, the 5 attendants who had been following her walked out from behind her. Shocking holy light shone from their bodies, and an incomparably powerful holy might intertwined with one another, causing the surrounding space to tremble and rumble. Yu Yaoshi's expression changed. At this moment, the aura released by the 5 attendants directly sealed the surrounding space. Peak of all creation, Lin Tian's eyes flashed with a strange light. Previously, they used a special secret technique to seal their true cultivation. Before he stepped into the ancestral Lord Sea region, he had seen Yu Fengyin and these attendants. At that time, the 5 of them were clearly only at the Tao Revolution level. But now, their cultivation had become peak all creation. He naturally didn't need to think too much about this matter. Without a doubt, these 5 people had been hiding their true cultivation under Yu Fengyin's surveillance. It seems that you've given them quite a lot of benefits. He looked at Yu Fengyin and said, these 5 attendants weren't from the Yu clan. This was something that he could completely sense. They didn't have a trace of the Yu clan's bloodline aura. They were clearly experts that Yu Fengyin had recruited outside the clan. And this matter was something that even the direct bloodline of some major clans had the qualifications to do, so it wasn't strange at all. However, to have a few peak all-creation experts seal their true cultivation and serve as attendants by one side, the price wasn't something that just anyone could bear. Even at death's door, you don't seem to be afraid at all. Considering your identity as a native of the 4th dimension, you're really not bad. You're worthy of praise. Yu Fengyin looked coldly at Lin Tian. She paused for a moment before saying, however, before I kill you, there's something that I'm really curious about. She said, it seems like you didn't start suspecting me after coming here. You seem to have been on guard and suspicious all along, as if you knew that I was going to kill her from the start. Why? When Lin Tian arrived here and sensed the killing formation engraved in the sea ahead, he immediately grabbed Yu Yaoshi and forced the killing formation to manifest. Throughout the entire process, he didn't seem surprised at all. It was as if he knew that she would do this from the start. This was definitely abnormal. This meant that Lin Tian had been suspecting her from the start. Or rather, it was no longer just suspicion. Lin Tian was deeply convinced that the reason she summoned Yu Yaoshi here was to kill her. This left Yu Fengyin extremely confused. She thought back to the past and felt that she hadn't given herself away in the slightest. Logically speaking, she shouldn't have been suspected at all. Yu Yaoshi also looked at Lin Tian curiously. Putting everything together, it seemed like Lin Tian had been suspecting Yu Fengyin from the start. This left her confused. She couldn't understand why Lin Tian would suspect Yu Fengyin. After Xiang Yinfeng escaped from the ancestral Lord Sea region, Yaoshi mentioned that she was ambushed. Do you still remember that? Lin Tian asked calmly. After she mentioned it, your actions betrayed you. You betrayed yourself. Yu Fengyin pondered for a moment before replying. That did happen. However, I didn't give myself away after that. In fact, I didn't even ask her about the ambush. I only praise your strength. She continued, there's no reason for you to doubt my words back then. Indeed, you didn't ask her about it, and you didn't even mention a single word about her being ambushed. Lin Tian looked at her and said, however, it was precisely this point that betrayed you. He continued, the 2 of you are cousins, members of the same clan. When my cousin mentioned that she was nearly killed in an ambush, you didn't show the slightest bit of shock or astonishment. You didn't even ask a single word about it. Is this normal? Clearly, this isn't normal. From that moment onwards, I began suspecting you. However, I also thought that since you 2 are cousins, you might not value each other that much, so you didn't pay much attention to her being ambushed. Thus, after that, I asked Yaoshi about your relationship with her. However, She said that the two of you grew up together, and your relationship was extremely close. He looked at Euphonian and said, "Since you two are cousins and are related by blood, why didn't you ask her about the ambush at that time? The only reason is that you knew about her being ambushed from the very start. That's why you weren't surprised at all when she mentioned it. From that moment onwards, I no longer suspected you. Instead, I was certain that you were the one who wanted to kill her," Lin Tian said calmly. He said calmly, "After that, you suddenly called her here, saying that you had something very important to discuss. I knew that you wanted to use this secluded place to set up all kinds of traps and erase her in one fell swoop." Yu Fengyin's complexion changed again and again, and her face turned even darker. "Good. Wonderful. Very wonderful." She looked at Lin Tian with a cold gaze. "You're clearly a lowly life form of the four-dimensional space, but your fighting prowess is actually so strong. To think that your mind is so sharp as well. You're really good." Never in her wildest dreams would she have thought that she would end up being exposed instead of mentioning the matter of Yu Yaoshi being ambushed. She had intentionally kept it a secret, so as to not give herself away. Yu Yaoshi's face also changed slightly. It turned out that this was the reason why Lin Tian asked her about her relationship with Euphonian. From the moment Lin Tian met Euphonian, she didn't even bother to remember the details. However, based on these details, Lin Tian was able to find the person who wanted to kill her and her family. This made her unable to remain calm. Very strong, very smart. Unfortunately, smart people often have short lives. Yu Fengyin's voice sounded once more. She stared coldly at Lin Tian as she ordered the 5 all-creation pinnacle experts. Kill them both. Chapter 2370. Following Yu Fengyin's words, the auras of the 5 attendants became even more intimidating. They were 5 middle-aged men, each with an ice-cold expression. One had red hair, one was dressed in gray robes, one was dressed in brown robes, one was dressed in black armor, and the last one was dressed in golden robes. The pressure of a peak all-creation expert instantly spread out in all directions and simultaneously attacked Lin Tian and Euphonian. 5 different killing lights instantly landed in front of Lin Tian. Yu Yaoshi's expression immediately changed, but she didn't show any fear. She instantly raised a powerful saint weapon, which shone brightly with holy light. Lin Tian's expression didn't change at all. His right leg lightly shook the surface of the sea, and in an instant, waves rolled. A large amount of holy light rushed up from the bottom of the sea, like a waterfall of light rushing up in reverse, and completely shattered the killing lights of the 5 middle-aged men. At the same time, the 5 middle-aged men were forced to retreat from the surface of the sea. Such a scene caused Yu Yaoshi's expression to change slightly, and the 5 middle-aged men's pupils contracted. At the same time, Yu Fengyin's expression also changed. Lin Tian's cultivation was indeed at the early Dao transformation realm, and there was no mistake about it. But now, he was able to dissolve the attacks of the 5 peak all-creation experts under her. Moreover, he was able to force all 5 of them back. That waterfall of light that rushed up caused her soul to involuntarily feel a chill. Its might was too terrifying. To be honest, the location you've chosen is really not bad. Lin Tian looked at Euphonian and said. When Yu Yaoshi told him that Euphonian had summoned her here to discuss an important matter, he knew that Euphonian was intending to kill Yu Yaoshi. Thus, he immediately commanded the blood devourer beasts, who had been imbued with the reincarnation eye art, to rush over from the bottom of the sea to investigate. It was only then that they realized that there was an extremely shocking, saintly spiritual grounds in the depths of the sea. Not only that, there were countless great veins intersecting with one another. In such a place, as someone who cultivated the dragon burial scripture, he was more than capable of manipulating the dense, saintly spiritual energy and the power of the great veins to battle. And in this place, the celestial saint's spirit land in the depths of the sea was extremely astonishing. In addition to the power of the endless great veins, his current early Dao transformation cultivation base, and the potential of the soul root that had been unsealed 4 times, the dragon burial scripture was enough to make him invincible under the pure sun realm. In fact, he even had a certain chance of winning against ordinary Pure Sun realm experts. Thus, at that time, after knowing about this, he did not make any preparations on the way here. With the power of this place, there was nothing to fear. This was because he completely did not believe that Euphonian could mobilize ancestor realm experts of the fifth dimension. That was obviously impossible. Euphonian stared at Lin Tian, and the shock in her eyes dissipated, replaced by ruthlessness. Kill him. Use your full strength. Kill him. She had 5 peak all-creation attendants, and she did not believe that she could not suppress Lin Tian, who was only at the early Dao transformation realm. The 5 middle-aged men nodded, and the aura outside their bodies surged once again, becoming stronger than before. A lowly creature of the 4th dimension, a mere Dao transformation realm cultivator, was able to repel us. What did you do? Among them, the red-haired middle-aged man asked. His eyes were cold, and he was very curious about the sacred light that Lin Tian had summoned. Take a guess? Lin Tian was very calm. The red-haired middle-aged man's face immediately sank, and his eyes became even colder. This was a Dao refinement cultivator from the 4th dimension. Even though his battle prowess was extraordinary, he was still just a Dao refinement cultivator. Now that he was facing an all-creations cultivator, he did not show the slightest bit of respect. This made him very unhappy. There's no need to talk nonsense with him. Just kill him. The brown-robed middle-aged man spoke, and as soon as he finished speaking, he moved, and an unparalleled killing light pressed down on Lin Tian. At the same time, the red-haired middle-aged man and the other 3 middle-aged men moved as well. Although their cultivation was much higher than Lin Tian's, they did not dare to be careless. They did not intend to fight alone, and all 5 of them attacked together. All kinds of killing lights were released once again, and this time they were even stronger than before. They completely sealed off the space around Lin Tian, including Yu Yaoshi. Lin Tian's expression did not change at all. With a slight thought, more powerful sacred light appeared from the bottom of the sea. Roar! Dragon roars shook the heavens and earth, and tens of thousands of dragons rushed out at once, each of them carrying an incomparably terrifying power. The tens of thousands of dragons were vivid and lifelike, and each of them looked as if they were real. In the blink of an eye, they shattered all the killing lights released by the 5 middle-aged men, and immediately surrounded all 5 of them, mercilessly suppressing them. Dragon Burial Realm. Pooh! 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 5 mists of blood instantly exploded, and the 5 middle-aged men were directly blown apart by this great art. Blood splattered all over the sky. Damn it! The 5 of them were shocked and furious. After all, they were peak all-creation experts, and their souls were not destroyed immediately. However, at this moment, a sense of horror rose in their hearts. They only felt that Lin Tian was too strange. He was clearly only at the early stage of Dao transformation, but he displayed such terrifying power that even peak all-creation experts like them could not resist at all. "Miss you, we won't do this anymore," one of them said, and immediately fled into the distance. At the same time, the other 4 did the same. They did not even reassemble their bodies for the time being, and quickly fled from this place. Lin Tian had attacked twice in a row, and the power he displayed caused a sense of fear to rise in their hearts. They felt that Lin Tian was too demonic, and if this continued, they would all be in trouble. Therefore, at this moment, they all chose to retreat and flee at the same time. Yu Fengyi's expression immediately became extremely ugly, and she said in shock and anger, "All of you, come back!" Lin Tian's gaze indifferently swept across the 5 people's souls. This time, hundreds of thousands of large dragons rushed up together. The second attack, Dragon Burial Realm. Hundreds of thousands of large dragons interweaved with the boundless power of the immortal Saint Spirit Land at the bottom of the sea, and instantly drowned the 5 people. Unwilling screams immediately rang out, and in the next moment, silence fell. The 5 people's souls were simultaneously shattered. Such a scene caused Yu Yaoshi's expression to change again and again, and she almost froze. Originally, she was still racking her brains over how to deal with 5 peak all-creation experts, and she did not have the slightest confidence in her heart. However, she did not expect that in the blink of an eye, Lin Tian would wipe out all 5 peak all-creation experts. She really could not imagine how Lin Tian, with his early-stage Dao transformation cultivation, could mobilize such terrifying power. Yu Fengyin's face turned ghastly pale. Looking at Lin Tian, she staggered backwards. She had set up all kinds of sure-kill methods here, and this time, she personally took action. With 5 peak all-creation experts by her side, she felt that this time, she would definitely be able to wipe out Yu Yaoshi and kill Lin Tian as well. After this, without Yu Yaoshi as the Holy Maiden, her family would definitely choose her as the new Holy Maiden. She was full of confidence in this. However, she did not expect that the early-stage Dao transformation Lin Tian would actually destroy all of this. Lin Tian looked at her, and with a thought, a large amount of holy spiritual light rushed up from the bottom of the sea, immediately suppressing Yu Fengyin. "I'll leave it to you," he said to Yu Yaoshi. He directly killed the 5 peak all-creation middle-aged man. However, Yu Fengyin was still a member of the Yu family. She had plotted to assassinate Yu Yaoshi time and time again, so naturally, it was better to leave it to Yu Yaoshi to deal with. Yu Yaoshi nodded and walked towards Yu Fengyin. Soon, she arrived in front of her. "Sisterine, why do you have to do this? We're clearly family, blood-related. It's just the position of Holy Maiden. Is there a need for you to do such a thing? If you want to be the Holy Maiden, I'll give it to you. It's no big deal. Shouldn't family be united and harmonious?" Hearing this, Lin Tian sighed. Yu Fengyin was so ruthless, but Yu Yaoshi still called her Sisterine. Yu Fengyin was suppressed, and her holy spiritual force was completely suppressed. Her movements were also limited, but her ability to speak was not sealed. Gritting her teeth, she said, "Yu Yaoshi, if you want to kill me, then kill me. Yu Fengyin, accept it. Don't put on such a pretentious act. Disgusting." Yu Yaoshi's lips twitched. She wanted to say something, but in the end, she didn't say anything. Instead, she took out the protective artifact that she had summoned previously and kept Yu Fengyin within it. Taking a deep breath, she turned to Lin Tian and smiled. However, it was a forced smile. "Thank you, Lin Tian." Thinking about it, Lin Tian had saved her life twice now. She was incomparably grateful to him, but at the same time, she also felt very uncomfortable. That was because the person who wanted to kill her was actually her cousin whom she had always trusted and respected. Lin Tian naturally understood how she felt. To be assassinated by a relative whom she trusted the most, it was hard for anyone to accept it. "There's no need to stand on ceremony. You also said that I'm your friend. It's only right for friends to help each other." He smiled. Yu Yaoshi nodded and thanked him once more. Lin Tian smiled. He didn't ask Yu Yaoshi how she wanted to deal with Yu Fengyin. Instead, he looked at the bottom of the sea and said, "I guess I've picked up an extraordinary opportunity here." As he said those words, the dragon inscriptions beneath his feet began to intertwine, and a divine radiance surged forth, wrapping around Yu Yaoshi and bringing her down to the depths of the sea. Soon, he brought Yu Yaoshi to the bottom of the sea. More dragon inscriptions appeared, pushing the seawater apart and forming a vacuum. The dragon inscriptions caused the paradise of Saint Spirit and countless great veins to appear simultaneously. In an instant, an incomparably dense amount of holy spiritual energy gushed out, along with some extraordinary ripples of Dao energy. Yu Yaoshi's face twitched. With her cultivation, she could tell that this was an extraordinary place. It was definitely a land of treasures that harnessed astonishing power. "Let's borrow the holy spiritual energy and the Dao energy contained in this place to cultivate together. It should be enough to raise our cultivation by a notch in a short period of time." Lin Tian Dao. The paradise of Saint Spirit and countless great veins intertwined here, gathering an incredible amount of holy spiritual energy and Dao energy. To cultivators, the terrain here could be considered a natural treasure of heaven and earth. Yu Yaoshi's eyes glimmered, but she shook her head and rejected Lin Tian's offer. "I'll pass. If I were to cultivate with you, I'd be splitting the holy spiritual energy and Tao energy in this place, which would greatly reduce the effectiveness of each of us. After that, I won't be able to reach the manifestation realm, and you won't be able to reach the middle stage of the Tao conversion realm. Chapter 2371. It's fine. Let's cultivate together. Lin Tian smiled. He knew what Yu Yaoshi was thinking, so he invited her again. No, I'll stand guard for you. You can cultivate by yourself and reach the intermediate stage of Tao transformation first. Yu Yaoshi was firm. Lin Tian still wanted to say something, but in the end, he swallowed his words. All right. He didn't force it. After bidding farewell to Yu Yaoshi, he sat cross-legged in the middle of the treasured land and began cultivating. Even though he was cultivating, he still had absolute control over the outside world. Moreover, he trusted Yu Yaoshi very much, so he didn't need to worry about her. 1. He circulated the Reincarnation Heart Sutra. An incomparable holy spiritual energy immediately surged into his body. At the same time, fragments of Tao laws and Tao energy of heaven and earth also surged toward him. In an instant, his essence, energy, and spirit began to rise at an extremely fast speed. Yu Yaoshi stood by the side, observing the surroundings and standing guard for him. Just like that, the days passed. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. After 3 days, the holy spiritual energy and Tao energy of heaven and earth that had accumulated in the celestial saint spirit land and the countless great veins were almost completely depleted. An extremely powerful fluctuation surged out of his body, creating gusts of holy wind. In the next instant, he opened his eyes. After a slight pause, he stood up. Previously, he had mobilized more than half of the energy gathered in the celestial saint spirit land and the countless great veins to kill the 5 peak all-creation experts. Now, after 3 days of cultivating with the remaining holy spiritual energy and Tao energy of heaven and earth, he had reached the intermediate stage of Tao transformation from the early stage to the intermediate stage of Tao transformation. His strength in all aspects had increased significantly. After a few more years, this place should have accumulated even more holy spiritual energy and Tao energy of heaven and earth. He muttered to himself. He had only absorbed the energy contained within this land of treasures to cultivate. He did not destroy this land of treasures. After that, this land of treasures would continue to absorb the Holy Spirit Chi and Tao energy between heaven and earth and gather here, becoming strong again. He called out to Yu Yaoshi, and the two rose from the bottom of the sea. Soon, they returned to the surface of the sea. Lin Tian, I'm sorry, but I might not be able to follow you to the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode. At this moment, Yu Yaoshi spoke up with an apologetic look on her face. With a worried look in her eyes, she said, it's impossible to determine whether Big Sis Yin's matter is only related to her alone or whether it's only related to her position as the Holy Maiden. If it's related to Big Uncle and the others, as well as the position of the clan head, it'll be very troublesome. I have to bring her back to the clan to investigate this matter. Hearing this, Lin Tian nodded. Your decision is very correct. If Euphomine was the only one involved in the matter of Euphomine, it would still be fine if she wanted to eliminate Yu Yaoshi and become the Holy Maiden for her own vanity. However, if her father was involved in the matter of the Yu family seizing the position of the clan head, that would be troublesome. It could lead to internal strife within the family. If it wasn't handled properly, it could cause a huge commotion within the family. And Yu Yaoshi's worries weren't unfounded. After all, Euphomine had previously mentioned the matter of her father and Yu Yaoshi's father vying for the position of the clan head. Rather than going to the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode to search for treasures, it was better for her to return to the clan to deal with this matter. Yu Yaoshi nodded. You must take care of yourself. I hope that you'll be able to obtain all of the artifacts in the Ancestor Lord's immortal abode. After which, she paused for a moment before telling Lin Tian where the Yu family was founded. After which, she took out a jade inscribed with the Yu family's insignia and passed it to Lin Tian. I'll look for you after dealing with the matters in the clan. If you have any needs in the future, feel free to come to the Yu family. All right. Lin Tian nodded as he accepted the jade inscribed by Yu Yaoshi. Seeing Lin Tian accepting the jade inscribed by her, Yu Yaoshi smiled. For a moment, she looked just like a little girl. I'll be leaving now. She waved at Lin Tian and didn't stay for too long. She directly left, heading out of the ancestral Lord Sea domain. Lin Tian watched as Yu Yaoshi left the ancestral Lord Sea domain until she disappeared from his sight. Then he turned his head to look in the direction of the massive island from before. Stepping on the sponge, he headed there. Traveling on the surface of the sea, he didn't seem to be walking at a fast pace, but in truth, he was able to traverse vast distances in a flash. It didn't take long for him to return to the massive island from before. Outside the massive island, all sorts of natural phenomena of destruction could be seen. Walking forward, he stepped onto the island through the gaps. As soon as he stepped onto the island, the aura of death immediately surged towards him, causing him to frown slightly. This was because from the outside, the island was clearly filled with tall and straight ancient trees. He thought that the Holy Spirit chi inside should be very dense, but he didn't expect that not only was there no Holy Spirit chi inside, but there was also a very dense aura of death, as if it was an island of death. However, he didn't mind it at all. Spreading out his divine sense, he quickly extended it far away. Then he walked towards the center of the island. Roar! A ferocious roar rang out as a powerful, ferocious beast pounced towards him. It was more than 3 zhang tall, and its body was covered in thick green scales. Lin Tian continued walking forward, ignoring the ferocious beast. The natural aura around his body sent it flying with a bang. About an hour later, he arrived at the center of the island. In front of him was an extremely majestic sacred mountain. It looked as if it had flown in from the heavens, making him feel small and insignificant. At the bottom of the sacred mountain, there was a stone door, but it was already damaged beyond recognition. Without a doubt, the 7 treasures' ancestor, Lord's immortal manor, was located within this majestic sacred mountain. The stone door was the entrance. It was probably destroyed by the cultivators who came here before. Without any hesitation, he took a step forward and stepped into the sacred mountain through the broken stone door. Behind the stone door was a cave path that was 3 zhang tall and 3 zhang wide. He followed the path into the sacred mountain. As he stepped forward, the echoes of his footsteps echoed in the cave. As he followed the path, the space gradually became wider and wider. Moreover, there were very powerful saint energy fluctuations and order auras gradually coming from the front. It seemed that there were powerful cultivators fighting in front of him. Suddenly, his footsteps quickened. Not long after, an extremely spacious area appeared in front of him. It was like a miniature world. Many cultivators had come here, and the weakest was at the profound heaven realm. All of them were staring at the center of the space, where 3 figures were fighting fiercely. Their saint auras were very frightening. Lin Tian arrived and recognized the 3 people at a glance. They were the Heaven Induction Divine Temple's God Sun Yuan Ziqing, the 100 Saints Ancient Pavilion's God Sun Luo Sais, and the Holy Maiden of the All Beginnings Palace, Lu Aoxian. The reason for their fight was a treasured halberd. The halberd was about 7 feet long, and it was covered with densely packed ancient runes that intertwined with dazzling light. It was obviously extraordinary. Just by looking at it from afar, one could feel a very terrifying saint aura lingering around the halberd. It made one's heart palpitate. It was clearly a 5th-dimensional treasure. Lin Tian looked at the 7-foot halberd and couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Was this one of the legendary 5th-dimensional treasured weapons of the 7 treasures ancestor? The 7-star halberd? Rumble! Intense saint energy vibrated. Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sais, and Lu Aoxian were surrounded by dazzling saint light. Each of their moves was extremely profound and shocking. The 7-star halberd is a top-notch 5th-dimensional treasure. I wonder which one of the 3 will be able to obtain it in the end. Do you even need to think about it? It will definitely be the Holy Maiden of the All Beginnings Palace. After all, the other party controls the laws of the 5th dimension. That's right. It's a little strange. The three of them have been fighting fiercely for a full quarter of an hour. As long as Lu Aoxian uses the law of all beginnings, she should be able to suppress Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's in the blink of an eye. But why hasn't she used it yet? Oh, I heard that Lu Aoxian is very arrogant. Now, she probably wants to defeat Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's without using the law of all beginnings. She wants to prove to the world that she's brilliant and peerless. As for Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's, they are the godsons of the Heaven-Leading Temple and the 100-Sage Ancient Pavilion respectively. Naturally, they have their own pride. The two of them are the first to charge at the 7-star halberd, while Lu Aoxian is behind them. Thus, the two of them naturally can't retreat under such circumstances. Otherwise, it would be too embarrassing. Perhaps they want to personally test how powerful Lu Aoxian's law of all beginnings is. That makes sense. Around them, some cultivators were discussing as they watched Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sai's, and Lu Aoxian's battle without blinking. Say, now that they're fighting fiercely and restraining each other, do you think it's possible for them to take the 7-star halberd? Someone whispered and asked his companions nearby. As soon as he said this, the cultivators nearby all looked over. You want to try? Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sai's, and Lu Aoxian. Who can compete with them in this place? If anyone dares to have any thoughts about the 7-star halberd while they're fighting fiercely, they'll definitely attack at the same time and turn into ashes in an instant. These people said. The person who spoke earlier immediately became embarrassed. After thinking about it, he realized that his question was a little silly. At this time, a slightly chubby cultivator nearby opened his eyes wide and looked at the northeast corner. That place? What's wrong? Beside him, the other cultivators were curious about this person's reaction. They all followed his gaze to the northeast corner. Then, all of them were shocked and widened their eyes. In the northeast corner, Lin Tian walked at a steady pace, completely ignoring the fierce battle between Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sai's, and Lu Aoxian. He walked straight toward the 7-star halberd at the center of this space. He felt that this halberd was extraordinary. If he could hold it in his hands, it would definitely be of great use to him in the future. It would also be of great use to the development of his branch of the Immortal Court in the 5th dimension. Chapter 2372. That man, seeing that Lin Tian was heading straight for the 7-star halberd while Lu Aoxian, Yuan Ziqing, and Luo Sai's were fighting, all the cultivators in the area were shocked. Someone dared to take the 7-star halberd while Lu Aoxian, Yuan Ziqing, and Luo Sai's were fighting. Wasn't he looking for death? Gradually, some of the cultivators could not help but be shocked when they saw Lin Tian's face. It's him. He's the one who killed the 3rd young master of the Xiang family and forced Xiang Yinfeng to escape. Someone couldn't help but say. Not long ago, outside the Ancestor Sea domain, Lin Tian killed the 3rd young master of the Xiang family, Xiang Qingyi, and then fought with the divine son of the Xiang family, Xiang Yinfeng. In the end, he forced Xiang Yinfeng to escape. Many cultivators saw that and recognized Lin Tian. Lin Tian didn't care about their reactions. He didn't change his pace and headed straight for the halberd. Almost at the same time, Lu Aoxian, Yuan Ziqing, and Luo Sai's noticed him. Their eyes were cold. They waved their hands at the same time, and 3 sharp beams of light headed straight for Lin Tian. In the blink of an eye, the 3 beams of light landed in front of Lin Tian. Lin Tian's pace didn't change at all. At this moment, it was as if he was stepping on the nodes of heaven and earth. None of the 3 beams of light hit him. They all passed by him. Lu Aoxian and the other 2 narrowed their eyes. They didn't hold back when they threw out the beams of light, but Lin Tian dodged them all easily. Get lost, Yuan Ziqing said. A sword energy that was more than 3 feet long appeared. It was mixed with the aura of order and headed straight for Lin Tian's head. This sword energy was much more powerful than the previous beams of light. It landed in front of Lin Tian's forehead in the blink of an eye. Lin Tian flicked his finger. A beam of sword light flew out and shattered the incoming sword energy. At the same time, his footsteps did not change as he continued to walk towards the 7-star halberd in the center. This scene shocked all the cultivators present. The sword aura that Yuan Ziqing had just slashed out was not simple. It caused many of the older generation figures present to feel their hearts palpitate. They could clearly feel that an ordinary peak Dao transformation expert would definitely be instantly annihilated by that sword aura. However, Lin Tian had wiped out that sword aura with a flick of his finger. Yuan Ziqing's eyes narrowed. After that, the light in his eyes turned cold. He attacked again, manifesting divine chains of order. The divine chains of order seemed to have a mind of their own as they shot toward Lin Tian like ferocious flying serpents. At the same time, Luo Sai's also made his move. Light of order fell on Lin Tian. Lu Aoxian's expression was cold. She waved her hand, and a large amount of holy light flew out. It was unknown how much stronger it was than the previous beams of light. It swept toward Lin Tian, along with Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's power of order. The three of them stopped fighting for now. After all, Lin Tian was heading straight for the 7-star halberd. They naturally could not ignore Lin Tian and continue fighting. The attacks of the three, the divine chains of order, the light of order, and the holy light, landed in front of Lin Tian in the blink of an eye. Lin Tian's expression did not change. His samsara domain appeared outside his body. Their attacks collided with the samsara divine territory outside his body and were all blocked by the samsara divine territory. Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sai's, and Lu Aoxian's eyes narrowed. Their attacks had become even more powerful. They attacked Lin Tian at the same time, but they were still easily blocked by Lin Tian. To be able to force Xiang Yinfeng to flee, you are indeed not simple, Yuan Ziqing said coldly. The light of order around him suddenly became dozens of times stronger. He appeared before Lin Tian in an instant. The unparalleled power of order directly pressed down on Lin Tian. Lu Aoxian and Luo Sai's appeared before him almost at the same time. They both drew out sharp beams of light. Do you think it's that easy to steal? Luo Sai's said coldly. Lu Aoxian did not say anything. Her eyes were cold. Her murderous light seemed to be able to suppress everything, sealing off all the space around them. The divine patterns of order appeared outside Lin Tian's body. They weakened everything. Together with the samsara domain, they blocked all the attacks from the three of them. At the same time, the samsara god-slaying technique was performed silently. It swept toward the three of them with sword chi that filled the sky. In an instant, Yuan Zigong and Luo Sai's both trembled and let out muffled groans. Then, they were directly penetrated by the sword lights that filled the sky. For a moment, they were sent flying hundreds of feet away, splashing blood in the air. Lu Aoxian was surrounded by divine light. She quickly retreated, shattering all the sword chi that came at her. The expressions of all the cultivators in this place changed. Yuan Ziqing, Luo Sai's, and Lu Aoxian were the divine sons and saintesses of the three top orthodoxies. They were all divine sons and saintesses of the same generation. They all attacked Lin Tian at the same time. However, the result was like this. Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's were severely injured and flew away. Lu Aoxian was not injured, but she was forced back dozens of feet. Lu Aoxian looked at Lin Tian. Her cold eyes could not help but narrow. She frowned at this moment. At the same time, Lin Tian stopped and looked at Lu Aoxian. You have mastered the law of all beginnings. You are indeed powerful. Just then, he had used the reincarnation god-slaying technique, a technique that attacked the soul silently. Combined with the sword rays, he had severely injured Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's in the blink of an eye. However, Lu Aoxian had blocked his reincarnation god-slaying technique and shattered all the sword rays in the sky. This was not simple. It was the first time someone in the same realm could block his samsara god-slaying technique. His words were calm. This made Lu Aoxian's face darken. She clearly felt like she was being underestimated. At the same time, with two loud booms, Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sai's rushed back from hundreds of feet away. They had both recovered from their injuries. However, they did not look good. They were the divine sons of the heaven-leading godly palace and the 100-saint ancient pavilion. However, they were injured by Lin Tian in front of everyone. This was too humiliating. The two of them looked at Lin Tian, and their eyes turned cold at this moment. There was an obvious killing intent in their eyes. Boom! The light of order surged. At this moment, the two of them activated their divine arts of order at the same time. Tao light manifested as all sorts of divine arts intertwined with one another, pressing towards Lin Tian step by step. The space in all directions was distorted inch by inch. Now, it's best if you don't do anything, Lin Tian said calmly. Almost at the same time, Yuan Ziqing and Luo's size trembled. The turbulent order outside their bodies became chaotic. They both coughed up blood. In an instant, both of their expressions changed. What did you do? Yuan Ziqing gritted his teeth. At that moment, the Saint Qi outside their bodies became extremely chaotic. The flow of Saint Qi was gradually frozen. Lin Tian did not say anything. He glanced at Lu Ao Xian and walked toward the seven-star halberd. Just now, the sword lights that filled the sky were mixed with miniature versions of the four-symbol seal. Along with the sword force that pierced through Yuan Ziqing and Luo's size, it entered their bodies and entered their saint energy. For a period of time after that, it would greatly solidify the flow of saint energy in their bodies. During this period of time, if the two of them were to forcefully circulate their saint energy, they would immediately suffer a huge backlash due to the chaotic solidification of their saint energy. Yuan Ziqing and Luo's size's faces turned ugly. Their Saint Qi surged, and they were about to attack again. However, in the next moment, as they activated their Saint Qi, the two of them trembled and coughed up blood again. Their bodies were in great pain. This made their faces even uglier. They did not dare to activate their Saint Qi. At that moment, they knew that for a short period of time, they had lost their ability to fight. If they forced their Saint Qi to move, it would be equivalent to suicide. The two of them watched as Lin Tian walked toward the seven-star halberd. They could not help but clench their fists. In fact, when Lu Ao Xian came to this place to attack, they already knew that they would not be able to take the seven-star halberd. This was because Lu Ao Xian controlled the law of all beginnings. That kind of power had absolute crushing pressure. Once Lu Ao Xian used that kind of power, they would not be able to block it. They would definitely lose in the end. However, they did not retreat. They could not retreat when Lu Ao Xian attacked. At least, they had to try the power of the law of all beginnings. After that, even if they were defeated by Lu Ao Xian with the law of all beginnings, it would not be embarrassing for them. After all, the law of all beginnings was one of the 5 fundamental powers of the 5th dimension. It was extremely terrifying. But now, they were defeated by Lin Tian, who came from the 4-dimensional world. Not only that, but he had also defeated them so easily. Moreover, Lin Tian's cultivation was actually a stage lower than theirs, and this caused them to feel extremely uncomfortable. They were living beings from the 5th dimension and were the direct descendants of the top orthodoxy in the 5th dimension. Their bloodline dimension was far superior to living beings from the 4th dimension, and their cultivation base was also higher. Under such circumstances, how could they lose to someone from the 4th dimension? How is this possible? How is this possible? Even though they already knew that Lin Tian had defeated Xiang Zifeng, who was at the same cultivation level as them, at this moment, when such a thing happened to them, they were unwilling to believe it no matter what. It was difficult for them to accept it. Lin Tian did not pay attention to them. His footsteps did not change at all as he continued to walk toward the seven-star halberd. Clang! The sound of the sword clanged as a large patch of holy light flashed past. It was as if the sky was pressing down. Lin Tian moved to the side, dodging the holy light. He tilted his head and looked at Lu Ao Xian. Lu Ao Xian's eyes were cold. With a sense of pride that came from her bones, she walked toward Lin Tian step by step. Around her, strands of purple light circled around her. Immediately, all the light of ways appeared and surged towards her. They danced around her, as if they were bowing down and worshipping her. This is the first time I have used this kind of power on the battlefield. I did not expect it to be against a creature from the 4th dimension. Chapter 2373. Surrounded by purple holy light, Lu Aoxian stepped forward. An extremely primitive aura emanated from her body. All the light of Tao jumped around her. Strands of it submitted to her. At that moment, all the cultivators here couldn't help but tremble. This is... At that moment, without thinking, all the cultivators guessed that this was the fifth dimension law that Lu Aoxian mastered. All beginnings. Even Yuan Ziqing, the divine prince of Tianyin, and Luo Sais, the divine prince of 100 saints, were shocked. Lin Tian's eyes shone with faint light. At that moment, Lu Aoxian's aura was much, much stronger than before. In other words, it wasn't a matter of much stronger anymore. She was obviously a different person. It was almost the same as when he performed fate and reincarnation. He looked at her. He didn't go to the 7-star halberd anymore. Lu Aoxian wasn't someone who could be dealt with so easily. Not bad. Come. At that moment, Lu Aoxian made him feel pressured. Even so, his expression was still calm. Lu Aoxian's eyes were cold. Like an aloof fairy, she walked toward Lin Tian step by step, surrounded by purple holy light. As she walked, the space around her seemed to have turned back to its original state, twisting with strands of light. Lin Tian stood where he was quietly. Suddenly, he stepped forward and moved several feet away. Almost at the same time, Lu Aoxian suddenly appeared where he was standing. The purple light around her annihilated everything there, turning space into the most primitive point to shorten the distance to zero. Reaching the destination in an instant, his eyes flickered. It's like teleportation. If it was before, Lu Aoxian's movement would have made him suffer a lot. He might have even had a hard time understanding how she did it. That wasn't in the category of speed. It wasn't pure teleportation either. But now, after unlocking 4 layers of the soul root, everything in the world became extremely clear in his vision. The Tao in the world wasn't as complicated as before. Now, in just a short moment, just a simple glance, he understood how Lu Aoxian suddenly appeared beside him. Turning space into a primitive point? Then what does that mean? What is he talking about? Who cares what he is talking about? Lu Aoxian used the law of all beginnings to attack, but that guy, he dodged it easily. Some cultivators were puzzled, while others were shocked. Lu Aoxian stared at Lin Tian in disbelief. She had indeed used the law of all beginnings to shift the distance between her and Lin Tian into a point of origin before shifting it. Then, in the blink of an eye, she had restored the point of origin to its original state. This was supposed to be a killing move, and no one in the same realm as her should be able to avoid it. She had even used this move to kill a powerful early-stage all-creations cultivator. However, not only did Lin Tian dodge her attack in an instant, he even saw through how she moved. This made her heart tremble slightly. Again, it was also at this moment that Lin Tian's voice sounded. Lu Aoxian's face darkened, and her eyes became even colder. Lin Tian was obviously looking down on her. She was the current saintess of the godly palace of all beginnings. She was someone who had mastered the law of the 5th dimension. Lin Tian actually didn't put her in his eyes at all. To her, this was something she could not tolerate. "You're not coming?" Lin Tian said. "If you're not coming, then I'll go over." As he spoke, he stepped forward towards Lu Aoxian. Strands of holy light shot out from his eyes. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. Behind him, thousands of rays of sword light appeared, turning into a rain of swords that slashed towards Lu Aoxian. Lu Aoxian's eyes turned cold. The law of all beginnings moved, and all of Lin Tian's sword light disappeared. They were all turned back to the original point of origin. "Don't be so arrogant." Her voice was cold. The law of all beginnings surged, immediately sealing the surroundings and pressing towards Lin Tian from every corner. Lin Tian used the Taichu Divine Domain to protect himself, and he also used all of his other treasured skills. However, it only lasted for an instant. When the various treasured techniques he used encountered the law of all beginnings, they immediately disappeared without a trace. As long as they came into contact with even a tiny bit of the law of all beginnings, they would be reduced to zero and disappear. Very strong indeed. He muttered to himself. As he said that, he moved dozens of feet away. A purple ray of divine light of all beginnings landed there. With a sizzle, the ground there, along with the space, turned into nothingness and disappeared. Lu Ao Xian's eyes were cold. She was like a fairy walking in the mortal world. Surrounded by the purple law of all beginnings, she approached Lin Tian step by step. More and more rays of divine light of all beginnings appeared. They pressed down on Lin Tian from all directions like the divine rain of all beginnings. Lin Tian faced it with a 5 thunder sky-shaking spell. Black thunderbolts kept striking his opponent, but they disappeared in an instant. He faced it with the seal of 4 symbols. It was his senior brother's technique. Even his master, the human king, had praised it before. It had endless potential and could seal everything. However, even such a powerful technique disappeared the instant it came into contact with the 10,000 dawn divine light. Sizzle. His reincarnation divine domain was touched by a trace of divine light of all beginnings. He stepped back. This time he moved hundreds of feet away. The reincarnation dominion was a protective spell that he created himself. It was a perfect match for his reincarnation origin. To him, it was an absolute defense. But now, it was easily destroyed by Lu Aoxian, who was in the same plane as him. Now, you will pay the price for your arrogance and conceit, Lu Ao Xian said coldly. The divine light of all beginnings turned into a rain of all beginnings. It was densely packed and swept towards Lin Tian. Lin Tian's eyes flickered. He threw out a large amount of reincarnation sword and then used the reincarnation step to dodge. He had the reincarnation step, but he didn't use it right now. He was purely dodging. In his eyes, rays of light intertwined. He captured Lu Ao Xian's divine light of all beginnings. As he dodged them, he quickly sensed and analyzed them. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Soft sounds rang out one after another. As the law of all beginnings passed through this space, everything disappeared. Lin Tian used the reincarnation step to dodge. He was so fast that he left many afterimages in this space. That person is being suppressed. All the techniques he used are useless. This is the law of the 5th dimension, the power of all beginnings. In this space, all the cultivators were shocked. Everyone here had seen how powerful Lin Tian was. He had easily defeated the divine son of the Heaven Attraction Temple and the saint of the 100 Saints Ancient Pavilion. But now, he was forced to dodge by Lu Ao Xian's law of all beginnings. She can turn everything back to the beginning. If the difference in cultivation isn't that big, then she's definitely invincible. Some of the older cultivators exclaimed. Once the law of all beginnings was used, ordinary power would be reduced to 0 in the blink of an eye. How could anyone resist it? Only the other 5th-dimensional laws, as well as the stronger 6th-dimensional laws and 7th-dimensional laws, would be able to deal with her power. Someone said. At the same time, the divine son of the Heaven Attraction Temple, Yuan Ziqing, and the saint of the 100 Saints Ancient Pavilion, Luo Sais, were all shocked. The law of all beginnings was too powerful. Even the divine sons of top orthodoxies like them couldn't help but feel helpless. Boom! Saint energy intertwined, and the law of all beginnings was vast and mighty. They intertwined in this space, pulsating. Lu Ao Xian stood in this space, surrounded by the law of all beginnings. At this moment, he was like a supreme deity, suppressing everything. Lin Tian dodged with the samsara steps and used all kinds of other grand arts to interfere. Wisps of light flickered in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. 2 hours had passed. At this time, the light in his eyes became thicker, and there was a faint purple light flashing. You're pretty fast. Lu Ao Xian's expression was cold. At this moment, the law of all beginnings outside his body boiled, forming the immortal river of all beginnings. It suppressed everything and covered Lin Tian. Try dodging again. The immortal river of all beginnings instantly pressed down. The law of all beginnings surrounded everything. There was no space to dodge at all. Lin Tian's gaze was calm, but the purple light in his eyes became a bit brighter. Then let's try. As he spoke, he raised his hand. Purple light flashed and tore open the immortal river of all beginnings. He stepped out. At the same time, he waved his hand. A purple blade sliced through the air and approached Lu Ao Xian instantly. Lu Ao Xian's expression changed. She quickly dodged 3 meters away. In the next second, the small space where she was just standing turned into nothingness and disappeared completely. That is... No way. That looks like... At this place, all the cultivators' expressions changed. Yuan Ziqing, the deity of the Heaven Guide Temple, and Luo Sais, the deity of the 100 Saints' ancient pavilion, were the same. Their powerful physical bodies shook violently. Lu Ao Xian's expression changed the most. She no longer had the cold arrogance from before. You! Impossible! Just now, the purple light outside Lin Tian's body and the purple blade he threw at her were obviously of the same origin as her power. That was obviously the law of all beginnings. You also know the law of all beginnings? She looked at Lin Tian. Why didn't I sense it before? She knew the law of all beginnings, and her cultivation was higher than Lin Tian's. If Lin Tian also knew the law of all beginnings, then there was no way she didn't sense it before. She definitely would have sensed it before. However, when she faced Lin Tian before, she didn't have the slightest feeling that Lin Tian knew the law of all beginnings. She couldn't figure it out and understand it. Then, in the next moment, she seemed to have thought of something. Her expression changed drastically, and she couldn't help but tremble slightly. You used my law of all beginnings to control it. Her eyes twitched uncontrollably. Lin Tian looked at her calmly. Faint purple light intertwined in his eyes. Strands of purple light floated out of his body. I just learned it. It's not pure yet. Practice with me, he said. As soon as he finished speaking, countless purple blades appeared and slashed at Lu Ao Xian. Chapter 2374. Waves of purple blades sliced through the air, landing before Lu Ao Xian in the blink of an eye. Lu Ao Xian's expression was ugly. She clenched her teeth, and the all-beginnings holy light around her boiled like flames. It turned into a terrifying waterfall, rushing toward Lin Tian. With a poof, Lin Tian's purple blades were instantly shattered. Then, Lu Ao Xian's waterfall-like all-beginnings holy light continued to press down on Lin Tian. Lin Tian stepped forward casually, leaving behind a purple afterimage with each step. He raised his hand and threw out a simple punch. Purple precepts of all beginnings intertwined at the tip of his fist. In terms of quantity, it was far less than Lu Ao Xian's all beginnings waterfall. However, its quality seemed to be much more powerful. It was able to break through the surface of the waterfall with one simple punch. Again, he said. As he spoke, he took a simple step forward. Purple radiance interweaved within his eyes. The all-beginning laws around his body gradually became more powerful. Lu Ao Xian quickly strengthened the law of all beginnings. The same purple light appeared and clashed with Lin Tian. At that moment, the two powers of the same nature and origin clashed, turning the space back to its original state. He actually, using Lu Ao Xian's law of all beginnings, he only needed 2 hours. 2 hours, 2 hours. Is he even human? All of the cultivators in this place were filled with astonishment. From Lu Ao Xian's words, they all knew that Lin Tian didn't control the law of all beginnings before. It was because Lu Ao Xian had taken out the law of all beginnings and comprehended it while studying it. That was how he managed to control this power. This shocked all the cultivators. They all felt their souls grow cold, as if they were about to be frozen. Lu Ao Xian, the current saintess of the All Beginnings Divine Palace, was known as a once-in-a-lifetime genius. She had terrifying potential. Using the various knowledge about the law of all beginnings left behind by the Divine Palace's ancestor, she finally mastered the law of all beginnings after more than a decade of seclusion. This shocked the entire fifth dimension. Yet now, Lin Tian had only used 2 hours to comprehend the law of all beginnings from Lu Ao Xian. Then he was able to control this power in battle. How terrifying was that? Didn't he come from the fourth dimension? How could there be such a terrifying person in such a low-level world? This is impossible. Someone couldn't help but tremble. Even people as strong as Yuan Ziqing and Luo Sais of the 100 Sacred Ancient Pavilion were astonished. Boom! 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 The void rumbled as the purple divine light of all beginnings collided continuously in this space. Everywhere it passed, everything dissipated. In the blink of an eye, 15 minutes passed. It's about time. Lin Tian spoke. He flicked his finger, and the immortal river of all beginnings surged out. The immortal river of all beginnings had a terrifying aura. It instantly shattered Lu Aoxian's law of all beginnings. Then, an air vortex appeared. It intertwined with shocking power. With a bang, Lu Aoxian was sent flying. The law of all beginnings. He surpassed Lu Aoxian. All the cultivators in the space of all beginnings trembled again. At this moment, everyone could clearly feel that Lin Tian's mastery of the law of all beginnings had surpassed Lu Aoxian by leaps and bounds. Is he really human? Some young cultivators trembled. Just by watching Lu Aoxian's immortal law of all beginnings, he was able to master this power in just 2 hours. Then he familiarized himself with it in less than 15 minutes. He was far more powerful than Lu Aoxian. Was that something a human could do? Lin Tian glanced at Lu Aoxian. Ignoring the cultivator's shock, he walked toward the 7-star halberd again. After unsealing the 4 seals on his soul root, his current understanding of heaven and earth was completely different from before. Apart from the complete reincarnation cycle, he could understand the essence of all other Daos and principles in an extremely short period of time. Boom! The purple divine light vibrated and attacked from behind. The law of all beginnings reached him in the blink of an eye. With a flick of his finger, the same all-beginning divine light swept out, obliterating the all-beginning laws in the blink of an eye. Not far away, Lu Aoxian had steadied herself and was walking back. "Don't leave!" She clenched her teeth and glared at Lin Tian. Her expression was extremely ugly. Countless years had passed since the founding of the All Beginnings Divine Palace. Apart from the All Beginnings Primogenitor, she was the second person to master this power after more than 10 years of seclusion with the help of the law of all beginnings left behind by the All Beginnings Primogenitor. She proved her shocking potential to the entire 5th dimension and was hailed as the #1 genius in the last 1,000,000 years. That was her pride. But now, Lin Tian, who came from the 4-dimensional world, had mastered this power in just 2 hours by watching her use the law of all beginnings. Then, in less than 15 minutes, he had mastered the law of all beginnings. His mastery of the law of all beginnings had far surpassed hers. What was this? With the help of the All Beginnings Primogenitor's understanding of the law of all beginnings, she had spent more than 10 years to master this power. Yet Lin Tian had mastered it in just 2 hours. Her pride was shattered in an instant. She looked at Lin Tian. With a boom, the law of all beginnings outside her body surged even more violently, as if it was going to return everything to its original state. All the cultivators here felt their hearts palpitate. Many of them quickly retreated, afraid that they would be affected. Lin Tian tilted his head and looked at Lu Aoxian. "Give up. There's no need to continue. The outcome has already been decided." Lu Aoxian clenched her teeth and clenched her fists. The law of all beginnings outside her body became even more terrifying, shaking the surroundings. "I didn't lose. I didn't," she yelled. Lin Tian looked at her. "You're like a stubborn little girl." With that, he flicked his finger again. A purple light instantly fell before Lu Aoxian. With a hiss, the law of all beginnings outside Lu Aoxian's body was annihilated immediately. Even her saint power was suppressed. After a pause, he flicked his finger for the 3rd time. Another purple light flew out and sank into Lu Aoxian's forehead. "Controlling it has something to do with you. Here's something for you," he said to Lu Aoxian. After a pause, he said, "Don't look down on others so much in the future. There's always someone better than you. That's what the ancient sages once said. Even the commoners know that. So it's better to be peaceful." Lu Aoxian's eyes always carried a sense of superiority, as if she was looking down on others. She was too arrogant. However, that wasn't a huge sin. He wouldn't kill her right away. Just now, the purple light he shot into Lu Aoxian's forehead contained his understanding and comprehension of the law of all beginnings. It also contained a bit of his will. It was clear and easy to understand. He believed that it would be of great use to Lu Aoxian. He was thinking that if Lu Aoxian continued to be so arrogant, her personality might gradually become twisted in the future. Now he could give her some advice and hint so that she could restrain her arrogance. That might not be a bad thing. With that, he took one last look at Lu Aoxian. Then, he turned around and walked toward the 7-star halberd again. At the same time, Lu Aoxian was completely stunned. Then, her gaze wavered. No matter how much she didn't want to admit it, she had indeed lost in the battle against Lin Tianyi. She had been completely and utterly defeated. Under such circumstances, even if Lin Tian wanted to kill her, she wouldn't be surprised at all. However, Lin Tian didn't kill her. Instead, he sent a spiritual brand into her mind. It contained all sorts of essences of the law of all beginnings. In just an instant, it made the law of all beginnings inside her much stronger. The essence of this knowledge was much more profound than the experience of the 10,000 beginnings laws left behind by their divine palace's primogenitor. At that moment, she was stunned. She stood where she was in a daze, staring at Lin Tian in a daze. It was also at this moment that Lin Tian appeared before the 7-star halberd. No one dared to stop him. He grabbed the halberd. However, in the next moment, when his hand was an inch away from the halberd, a circle of holy light appeared around the halberd. With a bang, he was knocked 10 meters away. What? What's going on? At this place, all the cultivators were still shocked by how easily Lin Tian had defeated Lu Aoxian. Seeing this scene, they couldn't help but be moved. The halberd had knocked Lin Tian away. Lin Tian steadied himself 10 meters away. He looked at the halberd again and frowned. A protective barrier? After a pause, he came before the halberd again. This time, holy light surged out of his body. He grabbed at the halberd again. There was a loud bang. This time, after using his majestic Saint Chi, he was sent flying more than 8 feet away. A 5th dimension level barrier. After 2 attempts, he could tell that the barrier around the 7-star halberd was definitely of the 5th dimension level. It didn't have any killing power, but it could effectively prevent others from taking away the halberd. Even a 5th dimension expert would find it hard to break through. If one tried to break through this barrier by force, the greater the amount of energy used, the greater the backlash would be. Looking at the halberd from 20 meters away, a faint light flashed through his eyes. Speaking of which, why was this halberd placed here? He muttered to himself. He could tell that this place was not a treasure trove, nor was it a tomb. Logically speaking, the 7 Treasures' ancestral lord would not have placed one of his 7 treasures artifacts here under normal circumstances. However, the holy halberd was indeed placed here. Moreover, a powerful barrier had been specially placed around the holy halberd. This was clearly a little unusual, and it made him feel strange. His eyes narrowed. He stopped at this place for a moment. Then he stopped thinking about it and didn't continue to take the halberd. Instead, he walked along a path, heading toward the center of this ancient mountain. Chapter 2375. He's gone? Seeing Lin Tian directly leave and head towards the center of the Saint Mountain, the crowd of cultivators could not help but be moved. The 7 Treasures sacred halberd was right there. There was absolutely no one who could compete with Lin Tian in this place. However, Lin Tian simply tried to take the 7 Treasures sacred halberd twice, and then directly left at this moment. This made everyone surprised. Lu Aoxian looked at Lin Tian's back as he left. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but in the end, he did not say anything. At the same time, swishing sounds could be heard. Seeing Lin Tian leave, some cultivators quickly rushed to the holy halberd. 5th dimensional treasure weapon. These cultivators seemed to be companions and did not fight. One of them stepped forward. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten that Lin Tian had tried to take the holy halberd and was knocked away twice. He even ignored the barrier around the holy halberd and excitedly grabbed the holy halberd. The result was obvious. This early-stage Tao transformation cultivator was immediately knocked back nearly 1,000 feet with a bang. Then, more cultivators stepped forward. Unexpectedly, there was no dispute, and they all tried to take the halberd. Then, bang, bang, bang. Muffled sounds rang out one after another. All the cultivators who stepped forward were immediately sent flying. After leaving the previous space, Lin Tian was already very far away. After walking for a while, he saw many forks in the holy mountain, and each one was very spacious. He raised his hand and threw a punch. It landed on the forks, but it did not cause much damage to the surrounding mountain walls. There are secret holy runes stabilizing this holy mountain, he muttered to himself. After pausing for a while, he did not stay for long and continued forward. After this, the forks gradually became spacious again, and a large space appeared. There were many stone rooms inside. Boom! There were already a lot of cultivators in this large space. It was as if they had come here from the other forks in the holy mountain. Groups of cultivators were fighting each other, fighting for the immortal treasures in the stone chambers in this place. He looked over and saw that in the northeast corner, there was a stone room filled with many immortal herbs. There were strange treasures like the ancient wind divine flower and the dragon emanation plant. They were very useful to Tao transformation realm experts. In the western corner, there was a medicine furnace inside a stone room. There was still a blazing fire burning inside. On some wooden shelves in the room, there were many Baodan jade bottles. Some of the pills were even exposed to the air. The fragrance was very strong. It was obvious that they were not ordinary goods. In the southern corner, there was an intimidating flame pond in a stone room. There were many precious weapons around it. Some were finished products with sharp precious chi, while others were incomplete. However, they were still intertwined with an extremely strong power. The other stone chambers were also filled with all kinds of extraordinary artifacts. This place was simply a treasure trove. The seven treasures ancestral lord once refined pills here. Have you forged weapons before? He muttered to himself. The medicine furnace and flame pond were both here. Many of the pills and weapons were clearly forged here. After pausing for a moment, he no longer hesitated and directly stepped forward. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of one of the stone chambers. He repelled several Tao Revolution experts who attacked him and put away more than a dozen peak profound heaven-level artifacts into his body. Then, he stepped into another stone chamber. There were quite a few stone chambers in this space, and almost all of them contained extraordinary treasures. There were many cultivators in this place. At this moment, they were all excited. They stared at the treasures in the stone chambers and frantically fought for them. Blood splashed in this space. This was the cruelty of the cultivation world. Once a treasure was discovered, fighting and bloodshed were common. All of you scram. Everything here belongs to me. Cold laughter echoed as a man in a golden robe attacked. He held a golden sword in his hand. It was an all-creation's divine weapon. With a swing of the sword, a group of cultivators who were fighting nearby were immediately killed. They were directly turned into a bloody mist and dissipated. In the distance, dozens of early-stage Tao transformation realm cultivators saw the sword in the golden-robed man's hand. They were horrified and quickly retreated. The golden-robed man laughed sinisterly. He raised his sword and slashed at the dozens of cultivators. With a clang, the sword was extremely fast and landed in front of the dozens of cultivators in the blink of an eye. Puff! 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 Dozens of bloody mists exploded. Under the power of an all-creation realm divine weapon, these ordinary early-stage Tao transformation realm cultivators could not withstand it and died immediately. You're so slow, the golden-robed man mocked. Then, he swung the all-creation realm divine sword in his hand again. Another group of cultivators exploded. It was difficult to resist. A gray-robed youth and 9 middle-aged servants followed behind him. They did not make a move at this time. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. Another slash. The all-creation realm divine weapons surged. Another dozen cultivators were all smashed into pieces. Even their divine souls disappeared. All of you scram, otherwise die. The golden-robed man stood in this space and looked down at all the cultivators in this space. He was like an ancient king giving orders. In his hand, the all-creation realm divine sword continuously swung. Destructive sword rays wantonly shot out. The sword chi was extremely terrifying. Instantly, more bloody mists exploded, causing the cultivators in this space to stop. Their eyes were filled with horror. At the same time, they looked at the golden-robed man in shock and anger. He actually wanted all of them to scram. This was too overbearing. However, even so, these people did not dare to say anything. This was because they knew the identity of the golden-robed man. He was the son of the sect master of the illusion sorcerer divine sect. It was rumored that the sect master of the illusion sorcerer divine sect was about to break through to the fifth dimensional realm. Moreover, he had mastered an extremely strange secret technique. Even the five top orthodoxies were not willing to fight with the illusion sorcerer divine sect unless it was necessary. Why aren't you scramming? The golden-robed man said coldly. The all-creation realm divine sword in his hand made clanging sounds. The sharp sword intent seemed to be able to suppress everything. Behind him, the gray-robed man remained silent. The other 9 middle-aged attendants all had cold expressions. In this space, the cultivators looked at the golden-robed man. Many of them could not help but grit their teeth. Their eyes were filled with anger. However, in the end, they did not dare to do anything. Some of them began to retreat, their faces filled with unwillingness. They were all very ordinary cultivators. They did not have powerful backup forces supporting them. The strongest among them was only at the peak of the Tao transformation realm. They were not a match for the golden-robed man with the all-creation realm divine sword. They could not block him at all. Even if they could block him, these cultivators were extremely afraid of the power behind the golden-robed man. They did not dare to offend him at all. Thus, if they did not retreat now, what else could they do? Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. The golden-robed man laughed sinisterly. Looking at the cultivators who were retreating, he raised his hand and slashed out again. The aura of the all-creation realm divine sword was astonishing. With one slash, dozens of early-stage Tao transformation realm cultivators exploded, their bodies and souls destroyed. Scram faster. If you take your time, this young master will send you on your way. The golden-robed man held the all-creation realm divine sword and swept his gaze across the cultivators. He was like an invincible sword god who stood at the peak of the world. The cultivators were even more shocked and furious. They were already retreating, but the golden-robed man was still mercilessly killing them. How ruthless was he? Among them, some of them could not help but want to attack. However, in the end, they restrained themselves and retreated at an even faster speed. This was because they really could not afford to provoke the golden-robed man. The golden-robed man was very satisfied. However, in the next moment, his eyes turned cold again as he looked toward the northeast corner. There, Lin Tian happened to be in a stone room collecting some baodan. You're courting death. Didn't you hear what this young master said? The golden-robed man looked coldly at Lin Tian. He raised his hand and slashed at Lin Tian with his sword. The sharp sword energy was terrifying to the ears. Lin Tian took out a treasure bottle filled with jade dew soul pellets from the stone room and shifted his body to the side to avoid this sword. With a boom, the stone room took the full brunt of the attack. However, it was not damaged at all. Not even the sword intent was left behind. It was as if there was a secret sacred rune protecting it. He stood in the stone room and looked at the golden-robed man. His eyes were indifferent. Don't make trouble for yourself. He naturally knew this golden-robed man. Yu Yaoshi had told him that his name was Mu Guanqing. He was the son of the illusion sorcerer sect master and was doted on by the sect master. It's him. Some of the cultivators had already retreated far away. When they saw this scene and looked at Lin Tian, they quickly recognized Lin Tian. Many of them could not help but be moved. Previously, outside the ancestral Lord Sea domain, Lin Tian had killed the Xiong family's third young master, Xiong Qingyi, and even forced the Xiong family's divine son, Xiong Yinfeng, to flee. Furthermore, they were aware that Lin Tian was from the fourth dimension, as well as his relationship with Yu Yaoshi. Behind Mu Guanqing, the 9 middle-aged attendants had gathered a lot of information and knew about Lin Tian. One of them glanced at Lin Tian, then took a few steps forward and whispered a few words to Mu Guanqing. He quickly passed on the information regarding Lin Tian to Mu Guanqing, including Lin Tian's origins, how Lin Tian and Yu Yaoshi knew each other, and how Lin Tian killed Xiong Qingyi and forced Xiong Yinfeng to flee. You dare to kill Xiong Qingyi? You got guts. To be able to force Xiong Yinfeng to flee, you're pretty strong. But so what? You're still just a lowly native from the fourth dimension. A lowly native dares to speak to me in such a tone? Mu Guanqing's eyes were cold. He raised his sword and slashed at Lin Tian again. So, what if you're related to Yu Yaoshi? Do you think the Yu family will protect you? Those old fogies of the Yu family will become enemies with my father for a lowly native from the fourth dimension like you? What a joke! With a clang, a sharp sword light rippled and intertwined with the might of an all-creation saint, slashing straight at Lin Tian's neck. Chapter 2376. Mu Guanqing was ruthless and domineering, but he was not stupid. Even though he knew that Lin Tian was related to Yu Yaoshi from the Yu family, Lin Tian had killed Xiong Qingyi, the third young master of the Xiong family. If he killed Lin Tian, he did not have to worry about the Yu family or the Yu family coming after him. After he killed Lin Tian, he would hand over Lin Tian's head to the Xiong family. If the Yu family came after him, would the Xiong family just leave him be? Obviously not. Moreover, his father's strength was there for all to see. There was no need for those top orthodoxies to do anything to him. Since Lin Tian was able to force Xiong Yinfeng to flee, his combat strength was indeed very strong, much stronger than his own. However, he had an all-creation's treasure weapon in his hand. Moreover, the 9 middle-aged servants behind him were all very strong. They were personally sent by his father to protect him. He did not think much of Lin Tian at all. Clang! The unparalleled killing sword light instantly arrived in front of Lin Tian. Lin Tian moved to the side and dodged the sword. His eyes turned cold. Outside his body, the 9-colored reincarnation sword force appeared. It was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye it was right in front of Mu Guanqing. The speed of the sword made Mu Guanqing's expression change. He only had time to block with the nature godly sword in front of him. Clang! The reincarnation sword force landed on the nature godly sword, and with a deafening sound, it was blocked by the nature godly sword. However, part of the reincarnation sword force's majestic strength passed through the nature godly sword and landed on Mu Guanqing. Immediately, with a bang, Mu Guanqing was sent flying. Blood splattered everywhere. Young master! The 9 middle-aged servants were shocked. They quickly rushed toward Mu Guanqing. At the same time, the other cultivators in the area were shocked. The weapon in Mu Guanqing's hand was an all-encompassing divine weapon. Using it with Mu Guanqing's mid-stage Dao Revolution cultivation base, it was extraordinarily powerful. He could even fight against the divine sons and saintesses of several top orthodoxies. However, he was injured by Lin Tian in an instant. This caused the crowd of cultivators to tremble slightly at Lin Tian's combat strength. At the same time, many of these cultivators clenched their fists. There was an excited glow in the depths of their eyes. Mu Guanqing's tyrannical and ruthless. And now, in the blink of an eye, Mu Guanqing was sent flying by Lin Tian's sword force. And was relieved. Not far away, Mu Guanqing's mouth and nose were bleeding. He was helped up by the 9 middle-aged men. He touched the blood at the corner of his mouth and trembled. The sword in his hand trembled as he pointed at Lin Tian. His face was filled with resentment. How dare you hurt me? He had always been the one hurting and killing others. This was the first time he was hurt by someone else. Lin Tian did not even bother to look at him. The holy light in his right hand intertwined as he collected the other bowed-in jade bottles in the stone room. The treasured pills in these jade bottles were all extraordinary and had their own special effects. Some of them could even allow a mystic heaven realm cultivator to directly advance to the Tao Revolution realm. Their value could be said to be extremely shocking. Although they were of no use to him, they were of great use to Wui and the others, as well as the development of the Immortal Court. After that, he could bring a portion of these treasured pills back to the four-dimensional world and give the other portion to Mu Wenyang and the others. This would allow everyone's cultivation to improve greatly in a short period of time. Be *starred. Mu Guanqing's face became even more ferocious. Lin Tian had completely ignored him. He roared and pushed away a middle-aged servant beside him. He held the all-encompassing divine weapon in both hands and slashed at Lin Tian. Streaks of sharp sword light swept toward Lin Tian. Lin Tian tilted his head and swung his hand. Another 9-colored sword light surged out and instantly shattered all the sword light. Then, without slowing down, it slashed straight at Mu Guanqing. In the blink of an eye, it was right in front of him. Mu Guanqing trembled. He used the all-encompassing divine sword in front of him to block. His face revealed a trace of panic as he retreated in panic. At the same time, a middle-aged servant beside him waved his hand and slapped down, shattering the sword. Mu Guanqing held the all-encompassing divine sword. His hands were trembling. He was shocked and angry as he stared at Lin Tian fiercely. Kill! Kill him for me! Kill him! He roared at the middle-aged servant who had attacked just now. He knew that even with the all-encompassing divine sword in hand, he could not defeat Lin Tian. No! Don't kill him. Suppress him and destroy his cultivation. Make him kneel before me and kowtow like a dog. The middle-aged man who had attacked just now nodded. He stepped forward and walked toward Lin Tian. Outside his body, wisps of divine light intertwined. His cultivation was gradually revealed. His essence, qi, and spirit were erupting like a volcano. Early stage, all creations. In this space, the crowd of cultivators was shocked. Mu Guanqing's middle-aged servant was actually an all creations powerhouse. The middle-aged man's eyes were cold. He walked toward Lin Tian step by step. The divine light outside his body gradually became stronger and stronger. Who can you mess with and who can't? You don't even have a basic sense of judgment. It's only a matter of time before you die. The man spoke. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Lin Tian. As if he knew everything, he coldly taught Lin Tian a lesson. He raised his hand and activated a divine light claw, tearing at Lin Tian's neck. Lin Tian raised his hand. The law of all beginnings intertwined, instantly obliterating all of the divine light that the middle-aged servant had activated. The law of all beginnings turned the servant's arm into nothingness. Then, Lin Tian grabbed the servant's neck. I'll return those words to you, Lin Tian said indifferently. The law of all beginnings exploded at an extremely close distance, instantly engulfing the middle-aged man. Ah! The middle-aged man screamed. He struggled in fear. However, at such a close distance, he was completely defenseless against the law of all beginnings. Even though his cultivation was much higher than Lin Tian's, and he was at the early stage all creations level, he could not break free. After 3 breaths, the law of all beginnings turned him into nothingness. Instantly, the expressions of the crowd of cultivators changed. Many of them could not help but tremble. Wan, the law of all beginnings was one of the top 5 foundational forces in the 5th dimension. Naturally, it was recorded in ancient books. These cultivators had all seen it before, so they recognized it at this moment. Just like that Lu Aoxian from the Divine Palace of All Beginnings, he also controlled the law of all beginnings. Many cultivators trembled. At the same time, Mu Guanqing's expression changed. The pupils of the other 8 middle-aged servants also constricted. Lin Tian, a lowly life form from the 4th dimension, actually controlled one of the 5 foundational forces in their world, all beginnings. Mu Guanqing's expression became even more ferocious. A lowly commoner from the 4th dimension actually controlled all beginnings. Why? Damn thing! He roared and ordered the other 8 middle-aged servants, go. All of you go. So what if he controls all beginnings? He's only at the mid-stage Tao revolution level. Just now, he only succeeded in his sneak attack. All of you go. Take him down. As he spoke, he grabbed Mu Fengqing. You bastard, I don't expect you to fight. Stand in front of me. If the all beginnings light comes, use your body to block it. Mu Fengqing remained silent. Even after being insulted by Mu Guanxing, he didn't say a word. He just stood there quietly. It was also at this moment that the 8 middle-aged attendants walked forward, all of them emanating extremely astonishing auras. Just like the middle-aged attendants that had been erased by Lin Tian's law of all beginnings. Their cultivations were all at the early stage of the Wanxiang realm. The 8 of them looked at Lin Tian. After knowing that Lin Tian controlled a power like the law of all beginnings. Even though Lin Tian's cultivation was much weaker than theirs and was only at the mid-stage Tao revolution level, they didn't relax at all when they looked at Lin Tian. Extremely powerful killing intent intertwined with each other, and they were like 8 killing gods. Their auras connected as one, and they rushed toward Lin Tian. The law of all beginnings was one of the 5 foundational forces of the 5th dimension in this world. They didn't dare to be careless at all. 8 all creations level auras were vast and mighty, like the rolling waves of a stormy sea. Lin Tian glanced at Mu Guanxing. You will die here. As he spoke, he walked out of the stone room and walked toward Mu Guanxing. He completely ignored the 8 middle-aged servants. I will die here? You want to kill me? Mu Guanxing pulled Mu Fengqing in front of him like a shield, guarding against Lin Tian's law of all beginnings. At the same time, he couldn't help but laugh wildly. You think you can kill me? Did you think that you would be invincible here just because you killed one of my servants with the law of all beginnings? Do you really think you can block my 8 all creations level retainers? What a joke. Today, the only one who will die here will be you. It will be you. In this place, all of the cultivators couldn't help but want to kick Mu Guanxing's face a few times. However, they had to admit that Mu Guanxing's words weren't wrong at all. Although Lin Tian controlled the powerful law of all beginnings and was extremely terrifying, he was still only at the mid-stage Tao transformation realm. Under such circumstances, his chances of winning against 8 all-creation level powerhouses were very slim. The difference in cultivation was just too great. The 8 middle-aged servants closed in on Lin Tian. 8 all-creation level auras intertwined, completely sealing off this place. Boundless killing intent locked onto Lin Tian, and their auras were terrifying. Lin Tian's expression didn't change at all. He walked step by step toward Mu Guanxing. He didn't care about the 8 all-creation level powerhouses at all. You can't protect him. As he spoke, his gaze fell on Mu Guanxing, who was being pulled in front of Mu Fengqing. You can't either. As soon as he said this, all of the cultivators present were slightly stunned. They couldn't help but look at Mu Fengqing. What did Lin Tian mean by this? It seemed as if Mu Fengqing was stronger than the 8 all-creation level middle-aged men. Even the 8 all-creation level middle-aged men were slightly stunned. They couldn't help but look at Mu Fengqing. Then they all snorted coldly. Stop pretending, one of them said coldly. Chapter 2377. The 8 middle-aged men's eyes turned cold. Lin Tian actually felt that Mu Fengqing, who was at the Tao-changing realm, was stronger than them, who were at the Wanxiang realm. This was simply ridiculous. Mu Guanxing laughed loudly and grabbed Mu Fengqing's shoulder. Listen to what he's saying. What he means is that a bastard like you is actually stronger than this young master's Wanxiang realm servant. Come, show this young master just how strong you are. Come, show this young master just how strong you are. Come, move. As he spoke, he seemed to think of something and clicked his tongue. That's right. You're this young master's little brother. How could I call you a bastard? Big brother was wrong. Little brother, you must forgive big brother and protect big brother well. He grabbed Mu Fengqing's shoulder and laughed so hard that he bent over. Tears seemed to be coming out of his eyes as he laughed so hard that he seemed to be on the verge of tears. Even though he mentioned big brother and little brother, his face was full of mockery and humiliation. Mu Fengqing didn't say a single word. However, when he looked at Lin Tian, there was a slight ripple in the depths of his eyes. Lin Tian glanced at Mu Guanqing. His expression was indifferent as he walked forward. Do you think you're invincible just because you've grasped the law of all beginnings? You should know that everything is based on cultivation. The 8 middle-aged attendants' eyes were cold. They were extremely dissatisfied with Lin Tian's attitude. Lin Tian completely ignored them. The 8 of them stepped forward at the same time, their speed increasing. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of Lin Tian. With a rumble, 8 rays of Wanxiang realm holy light, mixed with undisguised killing intent, mercilessly pressed down. Lin Tian stepped forward. The laws of Wanxiang surged, fusing together with the Samsara divine domain to protect his body. Any holy light that approached him was immediately blocked and silently annihilated. At the same time, the law of all beginnings condensed an extremely sharp all beginnings divine sword in his hand, which he casually slashed down. This sword was condensed from the law of all beginnings and moved together with the reincarnation sword technique. Its speed was extremely fast, and the sword momentum was turbulent. Moreover, it was intertwined with the unique power of the law of all beginnings. In an instant, it pierced through one of the people. Then, the reincarnation sword essence surged into the person's body and wantonly destroyed his flesh, blood, tendons, and bones. The power of all beginnings used one spot as the center to annihilate everything around it. Stop! Stop! Ah! The middle-aged attendant screamed and tried his best to resist, but it was useless. He could barely block the sharp reincarnation sword will, but the law of all beginnings was extremely terrifying. All of his saint energy was turned into nothingness the moment it touched the law of all beginnings. In the blink of an eye, 7 breaths of time had passed. Accompanied by a shrill cry of terror and despair, the middle-aged attendant had completely vanished and transformed into nothingness. His body and soul had been obliterated. Lin Tian took a step forward. Without saying anything, he raised his hand and slashed out with his sword again, charging towards another middle-aged attendant. His attack seemed simple and casual, but it was not. This casual slash actually contained the essence of his reincarnation sword technique and the law of all beginnings that he had mastered. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a killing move. Poof! The extremely fast slash pierced through the chest of another middle-aged attendant in the blink of an eye, causing this person's saint energy to become extremely chaotic in the blink of an eye. Then it quickly dissipated. Then it turned into nothingness amidst horrified screams. For a moment, the crowd of cultivators in this place trembled. This is the law of all beginnings. Many people's faces turned pale. Lin Tiansha was facing 8 early-stage all-creations experts at the same time with his cultivation at the Tao conversion realm, and in the blink of an eye, he had killed 2 of them. They were all killed with a single slash. The 6 middle-aged attendants who were still alive could not help but stagger back for a moment. Their faces could not help but turn pale. At this moment, when they looked at Lin Tian again, their hearts trembled and they panicked. They were all creations experts. Now that they had joined forces to deal with a Tao conversion realm cultivator, 2 of them had been killed in the blink of an eye. The law of all beginnings was too terrifying. They were retreating, but Lin Tian's pace did not change at all. Holding the divine sword condensed from the law of all beginnings, he continued to walk towards Mu Guanqing step by step. This person made him extremely displeased. What are you still standing there for? Move! Attack together! Attack together! Cooperate! You pieces of trash! Don't you know how to cooperate? Kill him! Kill him! Mu Guanqing roared at the 6 middle-aged attendants. At this moment, seeing that Lin Tian had killed 2 of his all-creations realm attendants in succession, he was a little fearful, but it also made him even more anxious. He ordered the 6 attendants to work together to kill Lin Tian. Otherwise, if these attendants could not kill Lin Tian, he might die here today. The 6 attendants gritted their teeth, and the holy aura around their bodies instantly surged. In an instant, it was more than twice as strong as before. Then, the six of them worked together to form a great formation of 6 elements. The combined power of the 6 of them enveloped Lin Tian and attacked him mercilessly. At this moment, the 6 of them were completely cooperating with each other. Unparalleled holy aura immediately drowned out everything. This kind of attack was extremely fierce and destructive. Lin Tian could clearly feel it, but he was not affected at all. He stepped forward, and the law of all beginnings turned into a vortex in an instant. With him as the center, it swept out in all directions. It evolved into an all-beginning storm in this place, annihilating all of the killing lights released by the 6 attendants with a sizzling sound. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing, and he swung his sword again. This time, his swinging motion seemed very slow, but the space around him could not help but tremble slightly. The swift and fierce sword momentum was like a volcanic eruption. It was one of the profound abhijnas of the transmigration sword technique, the 9 transmigration swords. He used this sword combined with the peerless law of all beginnings and slashed with his sword. 9 rays of sword light spun rapidly in the space around him. In an instant, 6 streaks of blood spurted out, and the 6 attendants were all slashed into pieces. Damn it! The 6 attendants were shocked and furious. Their souls were not destroyed, and they quickly reformed their bodies. However, it was also at this moment that the law of all beginnings in the 9 transmigration swords exploded. The purple holy light of all beginnings instantly drowned the 6 attendants' flesh, bones, and souls, turning into a huge purple vortex that swallowed everything. Ah, no! Shrill screams immediately reverberated. The 6 attendants struggled, and their soul energy surged. Their holy energy boiled along with it. However, it was useless. In the face of the law of all beginnings, all of their efforts were in vain. In the blink of an eye, 5 breaths had passed. The law of all beginnings trembled, and purple light flickered. The 6 attendants' flesh and souls all disappeared. Under the law of all beginnings, they turned into nothingness and returned to 0. At this place, the faces of all the cultivators turned pale. Many of them felt a chill run down their spines, and they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. The 8 attendants at the early stage of all creations had attacked together, but now they were all killed by Lin Tian in the blink of an eye. It felt as if Lin Tian was cutting grass. Mu Guanqing trembled and staggered back. No, impossible, impossible. How can a lowly native like you have such combat power? Impossible, impossible. The 9 all creations connects that his father had given him to protect himself were all killed by Lin Tian in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, he became incomparably flustered. Lin Tian stepped forward, his eyes indifferent. He casually waved the All Beginnings divine sword in his hand, and the sharp All Beginnings sword aura immediately slashed out. With a hiss, the void turned into nothingness. The purple All Beginnings sword aura slashed straight at Mu Guanqing. Mu Guanqing was shocked. He grabbed Mu Fengqing and used him as a shield. His legs and hands could not help but tremble. In the blink of an eye, the purple All Beginnings sword aura was right in front of him. Lin Tian held the All Beginnings divine sword, and his gaze fell on Mu Fengqing. It was also at this time that Mu Fengqing raised his hand. Specks of light intertwined in his hand, and he forcibly shattered the All Beginnings sword aura. In the blink of an eye, the expressions of all the cultivators present changed. They had all personally witnessed how powerful Lin Tian's All Beginnings sword aura was. Not a single one of the All Creations connects had been able to block it. In the blink of an eye, they had all been killed by the All Creations sword aura. But now, Mu Fengqing had actually shattered this sword aura that could easily kill an early All Creations powerhouse with a raise of his hand. Mu Guanqing's expression changed as well. He looked at Mu Fengqing in shock. Bastard, you actually... He had originally wanted to use Mu Fengqing as a shield to help him withstand Lin Tian's All Beginnings sword aura. He had never imagined that Mu Fengqing would be able to so easily shatter Lin Tian's sword aura. This level of strength definitely far surpassed that of his all creations connects. Lin Tian's expression didn't change at all. He raised the purple all-beginning sword and walked towards Mu Guanxing once more. He wasn't surprised by this scene in the slightest. Early on when he first met Mu Fengqing, he noticed that Mu Fengqing was extraordinary. The aura Mu Fengqing emanated was like a bottomless abyss, yet it was also like a boundless river of stars. In the fifth dimension, everyone in the cultivation world believed that Lu Aoxian of the All Beginnings Divine Palace was #1 in her generation. Her potential was terrifying. However, after seeing Mu Fengqing in the Zhujunxi region, he knew that the #1 in the fifth dimension was definitely not Lu Aoxian. In comparison, Mu Fengqing was at least 10 times stronger than Lu Aoxian. Mu Fengqing remained silent as he looked at Lin Tian. At this moment, he moved. He walked towards Lin Tian as he walked towards Lin Tian. Is this kind of scum worthy of your protection? Lin Tian's footsteps didn't change. His voice was calm. Father's orders. Mu Fengqing's expression didn't change at all. He was like a puppet as he simply uttered these 5 words. Lin Tian raised his hand and slashed out with his sword. You see him as your father, but he might not see you as his son. The all-beginning sword swept over. This time it was several dozen times stronger. This place was completely annihilated. He had never seen the sect master of the illusion sorcerer divine sect, but he could feel that he definitely didn't truly see Mu Fengqing as his son. At the very least, he didn't care about Mu Fengqing, a descendant who had his own blood flowing in his body. Otherwise, why would he give Mu Fengqing such a name? Serve Mu Guanxing for the rest of his life. He felt that the sect master of the illusion sorcerer divine sect, whom he had never seen before, only saw Mu Fengqing as a tool with his own blood flowing in his body. Mu Fengqing didn't explain anything. He was very silent. Strands of holy light flickered around his body, blocking Lin Tian's all-beginning sword. All around, the Tao trembled. Because of the holy light around his body, it gave birth to a kind of conscious fear. Defy the Tao. In the distance, experts of the older generation trembled. Chapter 2378. The 5 laws of the fifth dimension were the inverse Tao, star creation, dark light, all beginnings, and indestructible. These 5 laws of the fifth dimension were roughly recorded in ancient books, so it was not difficult to recognize them. At this time, someone recognized the power Mu Fengqing had unleashed. It was one of the 5 laws of the fifth dimension, the inverse Tao law. It was said to be able to destroy everything. It was a law that was completely born for destruction. He controls, at this moment, all the cultivators were stunned. Mu Fengqing, this person who had always been unknown in the cultivation world, had never had any reputation and was equivalent to a small fry. Yet, he actually controlled the laws of the fifth dimension, the Tao of Defiance. Lin Tian held the All Beginnings Divine Sword, and his gaze fell on the inverse Tao law outside Mu Fengqing's body. Not bad. It's very strong and very pure. You're not far from complete control. As he said this, he raised his hand. The All Beginnings Divine Sword in his hand vibrated, and the All Beginnings Divine Light slashed toward Mu Fengqing. Mu Fengqing wanted to protect Mu Guanxing. Then, after defeating Mu Fengqing, he would kill Mu Guanxing. At the same time, he also wanted to see how powerful a law of the inverse Tao law would be in Mu Fengqing's hands. Mu Fengqing's steps were calm as the inverse Tao law surrounded him. In the blink of an eye, it collided with the law of all beginnings that Lin Tian had unleashed. Chi! Chi! With 2 soft sounds, the inverse Tao law that Mu Guanxing had unleashed was annihilated, and the law of all beginnings that Lin Tian had unleashed also collapsed. These were 2 powers of the same level. The all beginnings could turn the inverse Tao into nothingness, and the inverse Tao could easily destroy the all beginnings. Lin Tian's expression was calm as strands of light intertwined in his eyes. With the protection of the law of all beginnings, he stepped forward. Swathes of divine light of all beginnings swept towards Mu Fengqing with him as the center. Everywhere it passed, everything returned to zero. Mu Fengqing remained silent throughout. The laws of the inverse Tao circled around him as he approached Lin Tian from the front. The surging laws of the inverse Tao interweaved with the terrifying power of Tao obliteration, causing the endless light of the Tao to surge in the world. In the blink of an eye, the two of them collided head-on. The inverse Tao and myriad beginnings interweaved. Space collapsed and disappeared one after another. As the two of them collided, a terrifying hurricane swept out continuously in this space. The scene was somewhat terrifying. The crowd of cultivators couldn't help but tremble as they watched the battle between the two. Many people couldn't help but tremble as they were shocked by this scene. At the same time, they also became a little excited as they stared at the battle in front of them. After all, this was a battle between the inverse Tao law and the law of all beginnings. This kind of battle was rarely seen even once in 10,000 years. Mu Guanxing was in a daze. Then his face became a little ugly as he clenched his fists. Damn bastard. He actually secretly learned the inverse Tao and hid it from father and me. He looked at Mu Fengqing, who was fighting Lin Tian with the inverse Tao law, and jealousy couldn't help but appear in his eyes. He's clearly the son of that ordinary B*T6, but he can control the inverse Tao. Why? Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. I should be the one controlling it. Mu Fengqing was the result of his father accidentally having sex with a female disciple in the sect. Mu Fengqing's mother was a very ordinary female disciple and was originally at the bottom of the illusion sorcerer sect. However, her son, Mu Fengqing, had a cultivation aptitude that surpassed him by a lot. Although Mu Fengqing was born later than him and had far fewer cultivation resources than him, and even some ordinary disciples in the sect couldn't compare to him, Mu Fengqing's cultivation base and combat strength surpassed his. This made him very uncomfortable with Mu Fengqing and often humiliated Mu Fengqing. And now, what he didn't expect was that Mu Fengqing actually controlled the legendary inverse Tao law and left him far behind. This made him even more jealous of Mu Fengqing, and his eyes were full of sinister resentment. Almost at the same time, Mu Fengqing, who was fighting Lin Tian, trembled slightly. He turned to look at Mu Guanxing and temporarily stopped attacking Lin Tian. Step by step, he walked toward Mu Guanxing. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Mu Guanxing. Mu Guanxing's eyes were full of jealousy and malice. When he saw Mu Fengqing walking over, he immediately shouted angrily, "You bastard! Why did you come back at this time? Come back and kill that lowly native for me. Go back and take his head." Slap! The sound of a slap rang out. Mu Fengqing raised his hand and directly slapped Mu Guanxing's cheek, interrupting his words. With a bang, Mu Guanxing was sent flying dozens of feet away. A mixture of blood and teeth fell into the air. This scene caused the expressions of all the cultivators in the area to change slightly. These people were from the fifth dimension and knew a bit about Mu Fengqing. Although they were the same as Mu Guanxing, the son of the illusion sorcery divine sect master, their identities were extremely awkward. The sect master of the illusion sorcery divine sect had ordered them to serve Mu Guanxing forever and not show any disrespect or resistance to Mu Guanxing. But now, Mu Fengqing had slapped Mu Guanxing. A faint light flashed in Lin Tian's eyes as he quietly watched. At this time, he did not continue to make a move. It was also at this time that Mu Guanxing, who was sent flying, stabilized his body. Blood was flowing out of the corner of his mouth. He was extremely shocked and angry, and his entire face was distorted. His eyes were filled with extreme resentment. "Mu Fengqing, you damned bastard! You dare to hit me?" Mu Fengqing took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Mu Guanxing. He grabbed Mu Guanxing's collar and directly pulled him in front of him. "You can insult me as you wish, but you are not allowed to insult my mother. Apologize to my mother." Mu Guanxing's face was ferocious. "You want me to apologize? You bastard! Apologize!" A cold voice interrupted Mu Guanxing's words. Mu Fengqing's eyes became incomparably cold. The inverse Tao law churned outside his body like a destructive sky. An extremely terrifying killing intent instantly surged out, and all Taos trembled along with it. All of a sudden, the hearts of the other cultivators in this place began to palpitate. All of them were terrified and could not stop trembling. Mu Guanqing was almost face to face with Mu Fengqing's eyes, which were filled with killing intent. He vaguely saw a destructive beast behind Mu Fengqing, and his eyes were instantly filled with fear. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At this moment, he did not doubt that if he dared to say no, Mu Fengqing would definitely kill him in an instant. The killing intent in Mu Fengqing's eyes gradually dissipated. He threw Mu Guanqing aside and walked towards Lin Tian again. Lin Tian quietly stood where he was until Mu Fengqing was about 10 feet away from him. I thought that you would listen to everything he says and lose yourself. You would not care about anything and live like a walking corpse. But it seems that there are still some things in your heart that cannot be touched. He looked at Mu Fengqing and said, in the short period of time, just now, the contrast between Mu Fengqing's before and after had surprised him. Just a moment ago, he did not say anything no matter how Mu Guanqing insulted him. He did not react at all, and there was no change in his emotions at all. However, in the next moment, he directly gave Mu Guanqing a resounding slap. This contrast surprised him, but at the same time, he nodded in his heart. Because if Mu Guanqing still did not react after Mu Fengqing insulted his mother and still did not say a word like before, he would feel very disappointed. If he did not even react when his mother was insulted by someone else and did not protect his mother's dignity, then this person would be a complete walking corpse. No one is allowed to insult my mother. Mu Fengqing said very little. The inverse Tao laws revolved around him, and like Lin Tian, he condensed the inverse Tao divine sword. The aura of destruction interweaved around the inverse Tao divine sword, and battle intent interweaved around his body. You still want to protect him? In Lin Tian's hand, the all-beginning divine sword interweaved with purple light. His gaze was calm and peaceful. Father's orders. Mu Fengqing said. Lin Tian said no more. The all-beginning divine sword trembled slightly, and a large expanse of all-beginning sword radiance swept towards Mu Fengqing. The all-beginning divine light burst forth. Each ray of sword radiance was extremely sharp, and they interweaved with an aura of annihilation, surging violently. Mu Fengqing shook the inverse Tao divine sword in his hand. Similarly, a large expanse of inverse Tao divine light burst forth to meet the all-beginning sword radiance. In the blink of an eye, the all-beginning sword radiance and the inverse Tao divine sword radiance collided, and the shockwaves were even more terrifying than before. In the next instant, the two of them moved at the same time. In an instant, they rushed in front of each other and engaged in close combat. Boom! 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 In an intense battle, the all-beginning aura and the inverse Tao divine aura continued to rampage in this space. Seeing this battle, the group of cultivators could not help but retreat again and again, their hearts trembling. At this moment, they finally understood why Lin Tian valued Mu Fengqing so much. Mu Fengqing was so terrifying. Facing Lin Tian, who had easily killed 9 all-creations powerhouses in the blink of an eye, they were actually fighting to a draw. This was simply much, much stronger than the divine sons and saintesses of those top-tier orthodoxies. Mu Guanqing stood in the distance. He had already recovered from the murderous look in Mu Fengqing's eyes. As he watched Lin Tian and Mu Fengqing's fierce battle, the hatred in his eyes became even more intense. Lin Tian, who had come from the 4th dimension, had attacked him and injured him. He had always viewed him as a bastard. His father had ordered him to serve him for eternity, but now he had dared to resist him and even slapped him in the face. Lowly native, damned bastard, all of you must die. All of you must die. Sooner or later, all of you will go to hell. He looked at Lin Tian and Mu Fengqing. His voice was filled with hatred, and his expression was ferocious. At this moment, he retreated, taking advantage of Mu Fengqing and Lin Tianyi's battle to escape this space. Lin Tian and Mu Fengqing were fighting, but they were aware of all the strange movements in this space. At this moment, he naturally saw Mu Guanqing running outside. He shook the all-beginning sword, and a sword ray shot towards Mu Fengqing. With a slight movement of his feet, he appeared in front of Mu Guanqing in the blink of an eye. "Where are you going?" The all-beginning sword was intertwined with purple holy light, and when he appeared in front of Mu Guanqing, it was placed horizontally across Mu Guanqing's neck. Mu Guanqing immediately trembled violently. He could feel the aura of the all-beginning sword beside his neck, and for a moment he didn't dare to move. You don't act recklessly. Don't act recklessly. My father is the sect master of the illusion sorcerer sect, and he is about to enter the fifth dimension." His voice was trembling. Chapter 2379. Your father is the sect master of the illusionary sorcerer divine sect? Is he that amazing? Lin Tian looked at Mu Guanqing with an indifferent gaze. Mu Guanqing knew that Lin Tian was not afraid of his father's identity at all when he saw Lin Tian's nonchalant and mocking gaze. Immediately, he shouted, "Mu Fengqing! Mu Fengqing! Save me! Hurry up and save me!" Because of Mu Fengqing's murderous gaze, he didn't dare to call Mu Fengqing a bastard anymore. Mu Fengqing naturally saw Mu Guanqing's situation. He raised the Tao-defying sword and immediately strode over with extreme speed. Lin Tian raised his hand, and an expanse of divine light of all creation swept out. It transformed into a storm of divine light of all creation that swept towards Mu Fengqing. "I told you, those 9 people can't save you. He can't save you." The divine sword of all creation buzzed with his words, causing Mu Guanqing's neck to be instantly sliced open. Blood flowed out. Mu Guanqing immediately trembled violently. He saw that Lin Tian had blocked Mu Fengqing's path with divine light of all creation and couldn't approach him for a short period of time. He felt the divine sword of all creation become even more terrifying. He felt the blood flowing out of his neck. For a moment, his eyes were filled with terror, just like when Mu Fengqing had stared at him with an icy gaze filled with killing intent. "I don't kill you. Don't kill me. I apologize. I apologize." His face turned pale. This was the first time he felt so close to death. At this moment, he trembled with fear. "Apologize? There's no need for that." Lin Tian on Dao. Mu Guanqing hurriedly said, "What do you want? I'll give it to you no matter what it is." Lin Tian looked at him. "Your life." As he spoke, the divine sword of all creation in his hand trembled, and with a pu, it shattered Mu Guanqing. His soul was also annihilated. For a moment, the place was dead silent. The group of cultivators stared at Lin Tian in a daze. The son of the illusion sorcerer sect master was killed by Lin Tiansha, just like that. He was the most favored son of the illusion sorcerer sect, and the sect master was infinitely close to reaching the fifth dimensional realm. This is big trouble. Some cultivators felt their hearts tremble. However, at the same time, even more cultivators were excited because Mu Guanqing was dead. Lin Tiansha had killed Mu Guanqing. All the cultivators felt as if they were the ones who had killed Mu Guanqing. They felt extremely relieved. Mu Guanqing was too hateful. At this moment, Mu Fengqing had shattered Lin Tian's divine sword of all creation. When he saw that Mu Guanqing had been killed by Lin Tian, he was stunned for a moment. The person his father wanted him to serve for eternity had died in front of him, just like that. However, this slight shock only lasted for a moment. In the next moment, he returned to normal and was still as silent as before. There were not many changes in his emotions. Holding the Tao-defying divine sword, he walked toward Lin Tian step by step, and his aura became stronger. "You want to avenge him?" Lin Tian looked at him calmly. Mu Fengqing walked over step by step, and the Tao defying divine sword's law became stronger. The destructive aura was majestic. Give father an explanation. Lin Tian then knew that Mu Fengqing didn't care about Mu Guanqing. He only cared about his father, who had named him. He thought of many things when he saw Mu Fengqing like this. Over the years, Mu Fengqing must have been longing for his father's approval. However, even though he was very powerful, to the point where he was far stronger than Lu Aoxian of the Divine Palace of All Beginnings, he was too honest and didn't know how to express himself. He only silently carried out his father's order to serve Mu Guanqing. Therefore, even if he showed his father the Tao defying divine sword after mastering it, his father would be pleasantly surprised. His father's attitude would change drastically, but he didn't do it. Perhaps he felt that Mu Fengqing actually knew this, but he still didn't do it. He didn't want his father's attitude towards him to change simply because he had mastered the Tao defying divine sword. He only wanted his father to change his attitude towards him emotionally, to acknowledge him as a father and son. I still don't believe that the father you speak of has the right to make you act like this. He only treats you as a tool with his own blood flowing in you. He didn't speak very tactfully when he saw Mu Fengqing walking towards him. Instead, he spoke rather cruelly. Mu Fengqing paused slightly. The hand that held the Tao defying divine sword clearly trembled, but it immediately returned to normal. Even so, he's still my father, he said. The Tao defying divine sword trembled in his hand. Even sharper, Tao defying divine sword interweaved, giving off a majestic and intimidating aura. Lin Tian looked at him. He didn't say much. The divine sword of all beginnings in his hand trembled, and the purple light became resplendent. Boom! Clang! In the blink of an eye, the two of them charged at each other and clashed. The violent collisions continued to repeat here. Hurricanes swept out, causing the cultivators in this space to feel their hearts palpitate as they staggered back. These cultivators were horrified. At this moment, the battle between the two of them was too terrifying. The cultivators only felt that the simple aftershocks could easily crush all of them. In Lin Tian's hand, the divine sword of all beginnings interweaved with the purple law of all beginnings. His eyes flickered with a strange light, and his movements were elegant. Mu Fengqing held the Tao defying divine sword, and the Tao defying divine sword jumped around his body as if he could easily destroy everything in this world. Boom! The explosion of Saint energy continued to reverberate. In the blink of an eye, a full hour passed. The two of them fought fiercely, and the space here was constantly being destroyed and destroyed. At this moment, the space not far behind Lin Tian trembled, and a total of 32 figures suddenly appeared. It was unknown how they had hidden themselves behind Lin Tian, but all of them had all creation-level fluctuations. At this moment, they took advantage of the critical moment of Lin Tian and Mu Fengqing's fierce battle to appear out of thin air. At the same time, they brandished their all-creation-level divine swords and slashed at Lin Tian, intimidating him with their killing intent. The sudden attack happened in the blink of an eye. The 32 of them had already closed in on Lin Tian. 32 Wanxiang-level killing auras intertwined together, locking down every inch of space around Lin Tian. 32 killing swords fell mercilessly and cruelly. As Lin Tian fought with Mu Fengqing, he turned around. His eyes shone brightly, and he looked somewhat coldly at the 32 people. At the same time, with a clang, Mu Fengqing made his move. The Tao defying divine sword in his hand erupted with a monstrous sword aura, and he slashed at the 32 all-creation-level powerhouses at an astonishing speed, forcing all 32 of them to retreat. Such a scene shocked everyone present. Some were shocked by the sudden appearance of 32 all-creation-level powerhouses attacking Lin Tian, while others were shocked by Mu Fengqing's sudden move to help Lin Tian. Junior Mu, what are you doing? Our goal is the same, to take his life. Why are you helping him stop us? One of the 32 people spoke up. It was clear that he had been here for a long time, and he had been using a very special method to conceal himself. He knew what had happened between Mu Fengqing and Lin Tian. for Mu Fengqing to fight with Lin Tianyi at this time. It was obvious that he wanted to kill Lin Tian. They had been using a special method to conceal themselves, and they had seized the perfect opportunity to attack Lin Tian just now. They had joined forces to attack Lin Tian, sealing off every corner around him and suppressing his killing intent. However, they hadn't expected that their plan would be foiled by Mu Fengqing. Lin Tian also tilted his head, temporarily ignoring the 32 all-creation level powerhouses. He looked at Mu Fengqing and asked, why? The sudden appearance of 32 all-creation level powerhouses really surprised him. Before this, he hadn't sensed their existence at all. Moreover, the timing of their attack had been impeccable. At that moment, he couldn't retaliate at all, and he couldn't defend himself with normal methods. He could only open his Eye of Destiny and use its void form ability to turn his body into nothingness. He could completely destroy the 32 people's attacks, as well as Mu Fengqing's attack. However, what he hadn't expected was that just as he was about to open his Eye of Destiny and use its void form ability, Mu Fengqing actually stopped attacking him. Instead, he used the inverse sword technique to slash at the 32 all-creation level powerhouses who were attacking him. Lin Tian was really curious about this. Didn't you want to kill me to answer to your father? Lin Tian asked Mu Fengqing. Mu Fengqing paused for an instant and said, previously, when I was angry because my mother was insulted, there was a lot of space between us. At that time, my back was facing you. If you had attacked, you could have killed me. However, you didn't. I owe you once, and I've paid you back now. The inverse sword in his hand intertwined with the inverse Tao laws. I will kill you. I will kill you with my own strength to answer to my father. Lin Tianwei was stunned. Then he laughed loudly. Previously, when Mu Fengqing left the battlefield and walked towards Mu Guanqing because his mother was insulted, his back was facing Lin Tian, and his entire body was full of openings. At that time, Lin Tian could have killed him with a single strike from the all-beginning sword formed from the essence of the law of all beginnings. However, Lin Tian didn't do that. He only looked at his opponent quietly. He hadn't expected Mu Fengqing to know about this. He had always remembered this, and now he was repaying him like this. Mu Fengqing, very good. I didn't misjudge you. I like your character. He looked at Mu Fengqing. I won't let you kill me, and I won't kill you. The illusion which sect isn't worth your time. I want you to become my guardian warrior. From the first time he saw Mu Fengqing, he instinctively felt that this person was a good person. Now, he was even more certain of his judgment. This person had great potential and great strength. He was straightforward and upright. He wanted to make him his comrade, his guardian warrior. As soon as he said this, all the cultivators present were stunned. Guardian warrior? What is he saying? Facing a mortal enemy, Lin Tian suddenly said something like this. This caused all the cultivators present to be stunned. Even Mu Fengqing himself couldn't help but be slightly stunned. At this time, Lin Tian didn't pay attention to the expressions of the cultivators present. He tilted his head and looked at the 32 all-creation experts. The people of the Xiang family have come for your clan's third young master? His voice was cold. He could sense that these 32 people had the unique bloodline aura of the Xiang family. Since you've interfered with our battle, all of you will die here. As he spoke, the all-beginning sword in his right hand trembled. The aura of the law of all beginnings skyrocketed, surging violently. At the same time, strands of holy light appeared outside his body, causing the surrounding Daos to tremble in fear. Weak Tao-defying laws interweaved and then instantly became stronger. Together with the law of all beginnings, it shook the surroundings. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.